everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Gary Palmer Jr. You're you. Together, we are minting coins. Today's show, we're talking about FTX, the U.S. political fallout, increasing standards for Web3 and crypto. I think we need to do more of that in the light of everything else. And Vitalik's view of ENS as Web3 NFTs. So with that being said, let's pull on some guests. We have Rachel Sachs.eth, RN1.eth.
Yes.
Rachel, hey, how
I've never
you
done
doing?
Good. Here, let's take off headphones, right? Probably the better play.
Oh, you just went on mute.
All right, we good.
There we go. Yeah, Rachel, want to introduce yourself and say who you are?
I'm Rachel at Ransax. Pretty much female Twitter shit poster, person in the space, that kind of deal. I've actually been in crypto since 2013, and we used to actually work at ENS, which is a regulated crypto exchange. And now I kind of do freelancing for ghostwriting and pretty much everywhere you see content. I'm secretly high up in that.
Excellent. Well, we need more content writers, and there's nothing wrong with having more shit posters, if you ask me. We need people putting out the truth.
Yeah, actually, though.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, what's up? How you doing, RN1.eth?
Hey, good, Gary. How you doing?
Very good, very good. Just loving the evening. Yeah, it's interesting. Like shows all throughout the day. And evenings are good for me. I'm a bit of a night owl myself. I'm actually up early and I'm up late. But what about you guys? You guys prefer the evening?
I burn out by then, but we all good. And this is my DJ hour though. This is kind of my time to myself, and I just go just explore everything. I just bought some ETH because it felt right. I've been sitting on it for a few hours. I was like, let's see what's kind of going 13. Let's let it go below 13 and just fuck around and find out.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking around and there's a lot of finding out lately. It is the season to fuck around and find out.
Actually, though.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know if it's the blood full moon or if it's just people's full egos, right? Full moons, the full egos. It's just sort of shocking what's happening with sort of like two in a row, right? It's like Luna doing what it did, and now there's FTX doing what it did. I don't know if you saw, but there were some people who were speculating. I don't have the tweets up, but there were some people speculating that the Luna crash was actually caused by FTX, and then the FTX just made themselves a bigger sort of risk pool, and eventually they went under too. And so it was like a drowning person taking out someone else.
Damn, I actually had not heard that. That makes weird sense. Are SBF and Dokkan gonna party it up on whatever 3AC's boat at this point? Is that where they're at? Because wasn't SBF arrested in the Bahamas? Or is that legit, or is that just Twitter misinformation at this point? Because there was this whole thing. There was a private plane. Yeah, it's real, right?
I did not hear that SBF. Ron, did you hear anything about SBF being arrested in the Bahamas?
Nope, I didn't hear. I did, earlier today when they were letting, we saw some withdrawals happening on chain. I think it was when we were on the ENS Morning Update show on Twitter earlier today, Gary. I could see people tweeting that there were some people doing some withdrawals, and it turned out to be just people in the Bahamas. They said it was due to Bahamas. They live and they're in Bahamas. They said it was just people who had KYC'd with the Bahamian, address and stuff like that. So don't know if it was their friends or what it was. But yeah, that's the last I heard. And, I don't know that they're going to be arresting somebody. But yeah, who knows? I mean, I think Do Kwon, still hasn't been arrested, and either is Alex Mrzinski. I think the process plays out, unless. So I kind of doubt those stories, but you never know. Crazy though. It's the sad thing is to see all the. I don't know if you guys saw BlockFi just had to pause all of their withdrawals.
Fuck.
Deepak, they lost.
Who's up and running at this point? Coinbase, Who can you like
Yeah.
actually do anything with right now? You have to do DeFi only pretty much, or like Coinbase, I guess, right? Like which
Yeah,
changes are not
definitely
affected.
decentralized.
I've never
And
fucked
a
with
couple
Binance, thank
companies.
God. But Binance is also, did they now deposit or something also as well, or no?
No, they've been going all along. They're fine, but you know, Americans can't use Binance anyway.
Yeah. Okay,
So
yeah,
yeah, I mean
exactly.
here, Gemini, Coinbase, probably Kraken, maybe, you know, Binance US.
Yeah, I was going to say that there is a Binance US, just for the sake of confusion and anybody watching the show. There's Binance US and there's also FTX US. And the Binance US, the FTX US are completely different, you know, not sort of different entities, let's say, under different regulations and rules. And so the FTX US is not affected like FTX International and yeah, Americans can't use Binance International, which is the better Binance, right? Where there is sort of more things and cooler things and like the rest of Web3. It's like Binance US, FTX US is just like this little sliver of the rest of Web3.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, I mean, well, actually, I was in a Spaces yesterday, and they were saying kind of like the differences between FTX. Yeah, you're like you were saying, the different parts of FTX, so like US, it's all different entities and how they're actually going to be dealt with. It's going to be interesting to see like who does what and what's going on with everything and like everything just in general. Like
FTX US people and FTX Japan will be able to get their funds out, but I doubt anyone else will be able to get all their funds out. But yeah, it's a bad deal. It's definitely, you know, like you say, we just had Luna, Celsius, you know, Three Arrows Capital, Voyager. Now this is going to just, you know, just send ripples through the whole community. Already some of the big VCs, you know, Novogratz earlier today said they wrote off like 75 million. Coin shares. Those guys wrote off a, you know, $250 million already. It's, you know, we're going to continue to see these cascading liquidations for the next, you know, weeks or months.
Yeah, damn.
And to that note, we have this article coming out just today, earlier this afternoon. JP Morgan saying that the FTX collapse fallout could cut the value of cryptocurrencies in half before all this is over. And so when we started all this, you know, before we started, like, what was Bitcoin? Like around 20K, let's say. Half, you know, what are we going to say? $10,000, $11,000, what a lot of people have been saying for a long time. A lot of people didn't believe it could be possible. But the amount of leverage trading across Luna, the amount of leverage trading across Celsius, the amount of leverage trading across FTX, and now the cascading losses because, you know, people got greedy and centralized exchanges, and not just centralized exchanges. We're going to get into this. But, you know, we were talking about this, I think, Monday or Tuesday, Sam said, listen, everything's fine. You got nothing to worry about. The next day, you know, they were basically bankrupt, right? Now, when was this? This was just this morning, part of the I'm sorry, I'm not sorry tweet thread. And Sam says here that FTX US, just like, you know, like I was saying FTX US is different than FTX International. And Ron was just saying how FTX US, they might not even get their money out either, right? Even though it's like sort of a different entity. Sam right here is saying it's 100% liquid FTX US's. Nothing to worry about. Every user could withdraw every dime. More updates coming in the future. Updates came in the future. What are those updates? Those updates, FTX US warns trading halt. Boom. You know, Sam says it's fine. Well, how many hours later was this? That was like at 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 4 hours later. And CoinDesk says, nope, psych, FTX US, no good.
Well, you know what? It's, you know, you used to hear all these celebrity rumors, right? And then they came true. Well, I'll tell you right now, when I see a rumor, I'm gonna, you know, everyone's gonna panic. I mean, a lot of people got burnt because they believed what he said. Same with Alex Mrzinski. He was, after people started calling him out, he was on there saying, no, those are lies, and we're liquid, everything's fine. And they had a multi-billion-dollar hole as well, right? I mean, it's like everyone gets on and lies. So, man, I'll tell you what, everyone's going to be quick to pull the trigger and get their crap off, and that's going to not be good either. But, yeah, every one of these rumors has now come true, and it's got it'll have everyone running scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they're just going to sensationalize it. Also, trust no bitch. That is like my number one rule of that. Trust no one. That is kind of the number one rule. Trust no bitch. You will get scared. You will lose money. It will end badly for you. Like, don't trust anyone with anything.
I mean, you can listen to them and you can verify. I mean, you probably believe in don't trust, verify, right? It's okay to verify. You can if someone says something, you can not trust it, but you could look into it and be like, oh, my research says that what they said is interesting, or my research says that, you know, that person is full of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like the old school Bitcoin mantra, right? That's the old school cypherpunk mantra. Don't trust, verify. It's just like modernized for trust no bitch, but verify.
Trust not your keys, not your coins has literally become a real thing. Like literally, I don't hold anything on centralized exchanges at all. And so that's the problem is, you know, our parents, our grandparents, whatever, they're not just going to go and open up a decentralized, wallet and, throw it on a ledger and do all the decentralized, which is what crypto's meant to be, right? The problem is there's a gap there, and it's, but, you really, it's going to, it's a Wild West, but it's really, really the Wild West. So it's either, hold your own keys, become your own bank, or be real careful who you custody with.
I think that'll improve, though. I think that'll, they're going to need a mass adoption on-ramp. I know everyone that's going to, a lot of people think that's going to ruin everything, but here's the truth. Who's going to be buying our shitty back folder NFTs? Who's going to be buying ENSs up so that we are not the grails? They're going to be buying the sub-tier ones. And really, who else is going to make it pump? There's a lot of people out there that could not figure that out in a million years. They wouldn't understand where to go, even if you kind of pointed them there. You needed to spoon feed it to people. But I think it's worth it. We have to all see it's worth it.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad today. You saw old Elizabeth Warren out there, just makes me sick every time she talks. But, as far as on the business side of things, but she was talking about it. And, you had Brad Garlinghouse and Brian Armstrong responding to her and saying, yeah, well, how about you have some, they weren't regulated because you don't have any regulations. But here we have two of the probably 3 or 4 legit regulated U.S. exchanges, and they're having problems with the U.S. SEC. You know what I mean? The not clarity. So
we're gonna get into it, Ron. We're gonna get into this and the SEC. Because all of this is starting to we're starting to see the trickling of because we were talking about this. The first day it was like, wow, Sam said this. I wonder if we can trust it. And the second day it was like, wow, Sam really lied. I wonder how bad this is going to get. The third day here, we're seeing U.S. lawmakers are warning of major consequences, in quotes here, major consequences for the users, right? Yeah, I'm the user. You're the user of these, potentially, right, theoretically, of these unregulated crypto firms like FTX. So the lawmakers are going to rain down the terror. We have Maxine Waters, Chairman of the United States House of Representatives Financial Services Committee, sort of very famous, pushed for additional federal oversight to crypto trading platforms, consumer protection. I'm always seeing her in those Congress streams because I subscribe to those. I live stream those too sometimes. The White House. Yeah, well, you can find the one. Well, I mean, it's like Joe Rogan or some podcast or news or crypto pod. It's just in the background. I'm listening to it, and you hear interesting things. It's the minutia of it taking so long. It's not like the clips, but when you get to parse all that information for yourself, you really get, a better sense of how who knows what and how bad things really are. But so that's Congress, right? The Democrats in Congress, who are the leaders in Congress, Democrat, Republican, whatever. They are saying that consumers, they're saying that the consumers like you and I are going to suffer, or we're being warned of major consequences. The White House is monitoring the FTX implosion. They are also calling for more regulation. Edward Snowden jumping in here. He's calling everybody a criminal. He's calling FTX a criminal. I don't know if you saw the tweet from Snowden. It's like they call it because he quote tweeted scam bankster fraud.
Scam bankman fraud, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, and they call Snowden was like, and they call me a criminal, and they call me a criminal. What's going on here? And so now he's like talking about the opportunistic serpents. Opportunistic. There we go. Serpents. White House calling for the regulations of cryptocurrency. Let's take a listen to what the press secretary is saying.
Without proper oversight, cryptocurrencies, it risks harming everyday Americans. So this is something that clearly we monitor and that we see as an important issue. But the most recent news further underscores these concerns and highlights why prudent regulation of cryptocurrencies is indeed needed. The White House, along with the relevant agencies, will again closely monitor the situation as it develops.
So they're closely monitoring. They're calling for regulation. Congress is calling for regulation, but there is, So this is. Have you guys seen this? I talked about it on an ENS update show earlier today, but this is Tom Emmer, and a lot of people. Agree with his politics, and there's a lot of people that don't agree with his politics. But regardless, interesting what he's saying is that Gary Gensler, he's a chairman of the SEC, right? Am I doing that right? And he's running to the media this morning, talking about Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. At the same time, whistleblower reports are being sent to Representative Emmer here. And those whistleblower reports are alleging that Gary Gensler, the regulator, right, the regulator for the industry, was helping SBF and FTX work on legal loopholes so that SBF and FTX would obtain regulatory monopoly. And at the same time, obviously, SBF and FTX was doing this, right? Gary Gensler was. So this is sort of like, if true, because this is just alleged from what the representative is saying, but if true, I mean, this is like kind of explosive, no?
It checks out. Out. Did you see it like 2 weeks back or whatever? I think it was like 2 weeks back, and it's like him with Gensler, SBF and Gensler, and people were getting really up in arms and pissy about it, and like kind of like fuck you, fucking traitor, like this kind of thing at him. I mean, it checks out to me.
Well, yeah, and look at, that's one of the things that BZ, Monday, before he agreed to possibly bail him out, that's one of the things that he brought up is, hey, let's not make nice once we're divorced, and I don't want to make nice with someone who was trying to cut a special deal for themselves. And hey, let's not get too conspiratorial, but we still don't know who provided the hundreds of billions of dollars of liquid fund to bring down Luna. Right? Who killed that peg? Somebody with hundreds of billions of dollars.
Someone today? Wasn't Alameda today just buying a bunch of Tether to try to take Tether down? Or did I read the news wrong?
I heard something like that. Yeah, there was something. Really? But I mean, all these things, it's like, I mean, what about Bank of America charging $50 billion a year in overdraft fees and stuff like that? I mean, I don't think there's not big forces behind this stuff that's maybe either setting these people up or maybe behind it. But yeah, we're talking this is not definitely. I asked a bigger question: who's really pulling the strings on this stuff?
Those socks, I can't. Also, this Illuminati trio up in here, like if they're in bed like that with the Clintons, come on. Come on.
I don't know.
I wonder that. What the hell was he doing there?
This is misinformation. You get 10% minus 10% credit score adjustment. Your influence has just been adjusted proportionally to negative 10%, and your interest rate has just increased. So misinformation, according to Zero X Masky here. Yeah. So what Maya is saying, I like Maya, follow Maya, it's going to be really hard to convince normies that SBF didn't run a government-aided conspiracy to destroy crypto. And it's just there's people that are talking. I don't know if you guys are hearing these rumors, and like there's borderline conspiracies happening. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, I did see that.
Should we talk about it? Should we skip over this?
Well, it's like blurry as fuck, so I can't see it. But you know.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So I'll read it here. So what this says is that this is a picture of Barbara Fried.
Mom. Yeah.
This is Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
And April 2019, Joe Biden announced his presidential campaign. 13 days later, SBF, son of Barbara Fried.
Yeah.
Barbara's a co-founder and political fundraiser organizer of Mind the Gap and Get Out the Vote organizations, including the Center for Voter Information. SBF launched FTX 13 days after. So that's just a coincidence, right? Yeah, it's just a coincidence. Big deal. Just coincidentally, FTX was launched 13 days after Joe Biden announced his presidential campaign. And then the exchange is practically an overnight success to become the second biggest donor of the Biden campaign. And so Be Mrs. Fried launched Totally Grassroots Democratic PAC in July 2018. Wonder how you're going to raise enough funds to make a difference. Son coincidentally becomes a multi-billionaire a few months later. Sometimes things just have a way of working out, I guess. So let's just.
Oh my God, Al Gore, no doubt. And what did he say? What did Al Gore say? Scroll down. That's top comment. What does this mean? The users will get a bailout? I'm dead. Oof, he would. I'm not surprised. I was like, I saw his name. I'm like, God, what is he saying about this?
Yeah, well, this might be better. TARP was $700 billion in 2009, so $8 billion should be no biggie.
Oof.
Well, was he just a smart businessman? I mean, he donated $50 million. I think he was like the second biggest political donor in the world for the U.S. elections. So is he just being smart and now he's just playing the game right? I don't know, but
puppet. I'm gonna go puppet theory.
I'm going puppet theory. I'm not closed-minded to any of this because we don't know. You know, maybe he just, maybe it was orchestrated. Maybe he just got taken down. Either way, it's a reason for more regulation and more. More bank involvement, more Wall Street involvement, and less of the real peer-to-peer, decentralization that Satoshi talked about in his white paper.
I'm gonna go. So who does it? I'm sticking with it. I'm saying with SBF, like his whole like shtick at the beginning. If you want to go like play into the like naive boy thing, which like I don't fucking know about that, but you want to play that angle. His whole altruistic thing. I think Mommy made him a puppet. Mommy makes his ass a puppet. That is feeling really appealing right now in terms of like tinfoil hat theories. Like that's feeling pretty good.
I mean, the facts is that he launched FTX a couple of weeks after, Biden became president, and then his mom did have her interests and let it be volunteer or work. And then he was the large. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of coincidences all in the same room. And so Autism Capital is asking, what we're curious about is how much knowledge did Gensler and the SEC have about this whole situation, and why didn't he step in and protect us when he was helping SBF out with favorable regulation, which is what is being alleged. Yeah. And ironically, the only thing that hasn't blown up is DeFi, and we'll talk about this a lot, is that more transparency, more decentralization, more using the algorithm and using the blockchain technology and using the technology for people to have equal access to the information. That's what protected people in this place, right? The analysis of people recognizing the risk, right? That public information, the transparency, that's what right helped. That's what brought this down and prevented this from getting even worse and hurting more people. And they're trying to take away DeFi. They're trying to regulate away DeFi. And the only thing that hasn't screwed up is DeFi. And you really have to ask yourself, who's the regulation going to help, right? Because the
Government
DeFi,
money. Government. It's only going to help the government. We know that. Doi.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's the most obvious thing in the world. Like, that's the only people it's going to help, honestly.
Well, look, there's really going to be two kinds of crypto. There's going to be the regulated with the bank involvement, the government regulated crypto world, very centralized, very top down. And then there's going to be the decentralized, which is how it should be. And both are going to exist. I mean, for big, institutional monies to come in, it's going to have to be regulated. But basically, we're going to have, it would almost be like if we had Wall Street, how it exists today, and then there was a completely decentralized people trading stocks and stuff on their phones. I mean, I really believe there's going to be two cryptos. I don't believe anyone who really knows what they're doing, other countries and stuff, they're not going to want to participate in that. But the current infrastructure and banks and stuff, they're all going to want a piece of this new crypto, and the CBDCs, all that. I really going to believe there's going to be two kinds of crypto, centralized and decentralized.
I completely agree with you. I think they should, like, if as much as they have all this bullshit about being an accredited investor, they should have the reverse of that for crypto people. People who understand it enough, you have to take a test of like fundamentals. Like, you need to put your stuff in a cold wallet. What is this? What is this? What is this? How does this operate? How would you go into a staking pool? Like the most, like, kind of basics of it, you have to pass it. If you can pass it, you can trade. You can, like, you don't have to use the regulated, whatever the hell it is. You are exempt from that kind of policy. And if you are kind of going, and then you can use DeFi. I think that's like the happy medium. They can make people pay $100 for the stupid test. Everyone gets it out of the way, and they don't have to deal with being on a regulated platform. They just get it, but they show enough knowledge. Think about it. To be an accredited investor as a venture capitalist, you have to take a test, and it's like you're fucking with other people's money. That's worse. You're fucking with millions of dollars.
Yeah, but it's never going to happen. That makes too much sense. That equalizes it for everyone. They're trying to keep their centralized control. So, yeah, they say it's to protect the people, but it's not, right? Like Gary was saying, the only people who didn't get affected like this was people who were on using decentralized exchanges and controlling their own private keys. Those people didn't get affected at all, unless, I mean, overall, the market got affected, but we didn't lose access. Some of our coins, for example, the fund I work for, we had a bunch of Solana and we had some staked. So we lost some value if we decided to sell, which we did. In fact, I moved all my Solana over into ENS tokens, which is another story. But just because I feel like Solana's, hasn't seen max pain yet, because FTX still sitting on $1 billion, about 10% of the supply. But truly, the people who didn't get hurt was the people who are holding their own private keys. But yeah, and I don't know that we don't really need permission. We don't really need permission to do that, right? I mean, I guess we do to use the on-ramps and stuff like that. But, same with China. They blocked people from using crypto, but it's still happening, right? It still happens. It's still growing over there. It's just more dangerous. You can get arrested and things like that. But yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see. They want to get rid of decentralization. They want to get rid of DeFi. They want to control it. They just want a bigger piece. They want to move into the new technology and make money. But yeah, they're not looking out for the little guy. That's just the excuse they're using for more control.
Yeah, why would you be a politician otherwise? I grew up in DC, so I've seen a lot of these people off duty most of my life, and they all do degenerate shit for themselves. There are very few that do. Of course. It's absolutely hypocritical and fucked. So you have to think, okay, well, if they're insisting on the system, how do we work in the system and try to make it better for ourselves? And I think, yeah, something like a test, you pay a fee that shuts them up. You pay a fee that'll keep them quiet. $100 for a stupid test. Like, people can go and bet on invest in funds for like millions of dollars for $100 stupid test fee. And like, if you pass the test, taking a fucking training course. Like,
well, hey,
okay.
some of the smartest people in crypto live in Indonesia or South America or India or Africa, right? They're probably know more than we do, and yet they have no access to traditional, legacy banking. And this will help. That's why the decentralized is going to help those 3, 4, 5 billion people that have no banking. They're going to have the banking, and that's the power. That's really going to. Those guys can't even buy. Think about it. They can't even buy Tesla stock. Let's say we know Tesla is going to go where it is today, $180, back up to $1,000 or whatever. People in Africa, they don't even have that option. Even if they have money, they have no access to that. So I think that like I say, we'll have the decentralized, we'll have the centralized crypto. It'll be interesting to see which one. I would say the decentralized version becomes a huge, kind of balances out the whole world, brings billions of people into the system that aren't into the system now, and changes the world potentially. The centralized, they're just going to corrupt it, and it's just more of the same that we've been seeing our whole lives, right? Just these centralized powers they never look out for anything but their own interest.
Well, it makes sense.
It's like an 80s cartoon. I'm sorry, go on.
No, I'm saying most of the world lives under a dictatorship. If you think about it, the amount of actual percentage of the world's population that lives under something that would qualify as a dictatorship with almost no access to anything, or even their centralized banks be shut down in 2 seconds. It's important. It's like, Louis, this is probably half the world. We live in such a bubble here, to be honest, about thinking about what this does. And I think people need to be more I don't know, set up some charities, do some missionary style stuff of going out there, getting people banked into crypto, getting decentralized finance going just across the world. Someone should fund that. Good PR for this, showing people what kind of good things it can do, because that's the thing. The media just loves to glom on to all the horror stories. Right now, it's just sensationalize everything. They're freaking people out. They want shit to tank. All these people are in bed with each other. This is how this works. I used to work in media. I worked at News Corporation. I used to have to walk around.
They jumped on it. They were already. This is barely happening, and they're already seizing the opportunity. They're not going to let a crisis go to waste, as the famous quote went.
Of course not. But no, they used to make me walk around with the share price, literally printed on a piece of paper to executives. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And they all know each other. Having access to a CEO inbox of a corporation, they all are in bed with each other. They all go to shit with each other. They all talk about these things. No, this is all fun. So it's easy for someone who has enough control to say it's enough money for me to be I'm sure they're all actually investing in it and then talking shit about it. Every single big media bigwig, I'm sure Murdoch is sitting on a fucking war chest of Bitcoin. Think of how many people watch Fox News love Bitcoin. Think about it. He's probably sitting on a war chest right now as we speak. There's so many billionaires out there that have this. They can track it.
They all love it.
They love it. They love it, but they publicly will hate it though, because it makes them more money, because clickbait.
Some of them do hate it, but what happens is that so many of their colleagues on their side and the opposite side, so many of their colleagues are telling them, their peers are telling them, no. 21 million Bitcoin, you got to get just one, you got to do this, right? It's a big club, right? And this is something Andreas Antonopoulos has always said, is that they're never going to ban all the on-ramps. They're never going to ban all the off-ramps, because the on-ramps and the off-ramps are most important to the most corrupt, right? Not in America, but the most corrupt are the ones that need to get their money in and out of the country, right? When things go bad, because, and I'm not talking about America really, unless America goes downhill, which, might be trending that way. But, what we're talking about, the problem with marketing Bitcoin and marketing cryptocurrency from, really where we're at, which is this cypherpunk perspective in this conversation right now, is that people in America don't need crypto, right? People in America, are sort of fine just working their jobs and collecting a paycheck and not having any money to save, and they're not experiencing this massive inflation. They're not experiencing like the poorest person in America, right, generally speaking, can get access to clean water versus that average person in the rest of the world.
where they don't have infrastructure, where there might be war, where they don't have banks, where they get like, you know, a larger chance of death for having money, and like the value of their work, it's like harder, and there's like more risk with like less access to food and water. And so like cryptocurrency like is most helping people in the worst places in the world. And people in America like don't necessarily need it, but no matter where in the world it is, like I'm saying, there's always going to be these on ramps and off ramps, because the most corrupt are going to want to get out of their shit currency, right? Gresham's law. You want to get rid of the bad money, and you want to collect the good money. And yeah, it just creates this system, and it's just like who has access to the information at that point, right? Because just like what you're saying, right, is that you're saying that like they're pro Bitcoin, or they're buying this shit, let it be stocks or Bitcoin or whatever. They're publicly saying bad things about it, but they're purchasing it behind the scenes, right, without telling anybody.
I take it.
And
that's what it all is. You look on crypto Twitter, people are pumping and dumping their bags. It's the point.
Like but did CZ, I mean, what are the chances CZ knew? I mean, CZ 100%, right? No chance. 100% Binance knew FTT token was going to zero.
Yeah.
So what are the chances that Binance International, but Binance US this would be probably illegal, or maybe, I don't know, but like Binance International shorting FTT all the way to zero, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they know when it's going up and they're betting it's going up. They know when it's going down, they're shorting it all the way down.
Yeah, CZ kind of sketches me out. Is that weird? I always feel straight. Like, I know I don't mind it, but I'm like, she's got a little too much information. The man knows a little too much, you know? That's kind of what I feel about Binance in particular, is knows a little too much. Not fucking with Binance. It's a no for me.
Access to a lot of data.
Too much information. Like all the information. Literally scraping everything.
Not just information too. It's information plus financial information, right? Financial data.
Has to be. He has to be scraping literally anything and everything. Like if whatever aggregator, whatever people are selling in terms of data, it's going to Binance. It's going to CZ, going to his people. Like he has all the intel. He should start his own like CIA or Interpol. He probably is working with Interpol. I don't fucking know. Like that's something I could not, like honestly, that doesn't make like, that's not too crazy, weirdly.
Yeah, I mean, places, those organizations, I just assume have all access to all data everywhere, all the time.
Right? You would think they would. Like, it would be shocking if they didn't.
Yeah, and I just assume every hard drive in the world comes pre-hacked with like NSA software, and so yeah, I mean, every phone comes pre-hacked, every hard drive comes pre-hacked. So it's sort of like, and what I've read, even when you like wipe out a hard drive and reboot a hard drive, there's still like this boot software in a hard drive that, you know, lets you like reformat brand new software, and like that initial sort of spark of life of like reinstalling the software, like that itself is like sort of, I mean, I don't think you can reinstall that. I'm not that deep of an expert to know all that, but like so because I'm not an expert, I just have to, and watching a lot of sci-fi movies, I just have to default to everything is pre-hacked. Basically what we've learned from people like, you know, Snowden leaks, and what we learned from things like the Vault 7 stuff. I don't want to like go too far down a rabbit hole without being on the private show, because we're going to have a private show where we're going to be going over, you know, like deeper stuff down the rabbit hole. So we can't really go over that here. But yeah, it's, you know, people should learn how blockchain security works, and they should learn how blockchain privacy works. And they should, you know, learn about like blockchain security and like just how the encryption, like a little bit of the encryption, just basically not your keys, not your coin. How does a hardware wallet work? Because, you know, as it is now, like people don't realize how, like, it's not just how little privacy people have. It's a negative amount of privacy. People, you don't have zero privacy. You have right now in the Web 2 world, you have negative privacy, right? Yeah. Because in the Web 2 world, like you know, it's not just a database on you, but there's like a whole avatar, right? There's like a walking avatar of you. You know, it's like a metaverse. It's like, you know, it's like widely known as a digital twin. Like every human being has a digital twin, which is like this database of everything about you, right? Like photos that you posted from all these different websites, and you don't even know that like people would even, you would be shocked if you saw some of these photos from back in the day that, you know, and this software is all well known, and these softwares are all well known, like the amount of data aggregation, like everything you liked, everything you saw and that you didn't like. Yeah, and like I guess what we're talking about in terms of this is just like the access to information, like who has that information and how they use that information to make money, and you know, no matter what happens, right?
Oh yeah, no, I've assumed that. I have this ex that I was with for a long time who was always like, my phone doesn't really work well. Send your nudes over Messenger. And I'm like, I know everyone at Meta has probably seen me naked. You know what? That's what it is. I've just accepted, like, you know what? I look great in these. I just make sure I send something, like, make sure I look good enough that if someone was to like blow it up and be like, you posted, you sent this. Fine, great. I look awesome. Awesome. Love that for me. Like, that's honestly, I just deeply assume that's a thing. And that can't be deleted either, which is extra stupid. But funny. That's why I have to make sure instill some fear every couple years, like, into people. Just, hi, motherfucker, don't share my stuff. Bye.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't too long ago when there was a story, this woman in the FBI was arrested. Right. She was illegally collecting all these, because they have access to all your text messaging, like you're saying.
They do.
And they do. And she was literally collecting all these dick pics from all these like dudes.
What?
And she totally
no one ever wants a dick pic. No one ever asked for one. It doesn't happen. This person's a sadist.
Apparently this chick.
This woman's a fucking sadist. Like, no one ever wants to be actually receiving a dick pic. I swear to God. Like, I always say to people, please don't send them. I don't know. Like, you're just going to make it not work for you. Goodbye.
Well, we can do a survey. We can do a survey real quick. Like, you're saying you don't want, like, you never appreciate dick pics, is what you're saying.
Hell no.
Ron, what about you? Would you ever appreciate a dick pic?
No, I think the only one that likes that is probably gay dudes. Certainly, I can't believe any girl.
Guys will send it to you all the time. What's great is I'm so aggressive. I'm like, please do not. I have never actually gotten one, but girls like whatever, women like decide if it's really embarrassing, send it in a group text. Assume if you send one, it'll be flashed everywhere. Assume it, because they're like, wow, that's so embarrassing. Like, for some reason, it just is. But like, I don't know. It's a stigma. Is it a thing? There's not very much. That's rare that there's art to it, I think. There's a lot more art to female nudes than there are to just a dick pic. I think that's gotta be what it is, just aesthetics alone. Keeping it real here. This is what the spice that I can bring to a channel like this, right? Gotta keep it.
I don't think anyone's gonna argue with you.
I mean, what's gonna happen when, like, I mean, which is gonna happen first? Are dudes gonna NFT their dick pic and then send it to your blockchain, your Web3 address, to your ENS name? Right? Are you going to get NFT dick pics to your ENS?
Boots for money. I'm thinking boots for ENS money.
Or, well, no, that's not the option, because like booze for, you know, yeah, that I can see that. But that's or are chicks going to receive dick pics, and then themselves, the chicks are going to turn them into NFTs, and then send them back, to that dude that sent it.
Totally.
Yeah. So which is, I mean, I don't know. It's hard 100%.
To say. That's exactly totally going to happen. 100%. The comments, the savage part is the comments on Etherscan. That's going to be the fucking worst. That's where cyberbullying is going to go down, is in like that kind of situation. That's where I think it's the most nightmare fuel. Is I love leaving comments in Etherscan. Actually, it's very fun because like it's a secret, fun little note. Like, it's a good time. People would absolutely be saying tiny fucking penis, blah 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 blah. Why would you send this like on Etherscan on the transaction sent back? Like, fuck you, you piece of shit, buy this back. 1 ETH, deuces, like, bye. Like, that would be in the contract or something. Like, I can see that happening. I would totally do that.
Somebody would feel bad, and they would send it. They would buy tinypenis.eth and just like send it back to the guy and be like, I'm so sorry.
Is that purchased? Who owns it?
Well, listen, I'm trying to contribute too. I mean, you're contributing a lot with the alpha and the spice, and I just want to say tinypenis.eth, if that's available. I
know, I'm buying it right now. I'm looking to see.
I mean, I'll take a fraction.
Who's the big brain? What else do they have? They only own tiny penis on this one. I am so impressed.
Wow. Yeah.
I love the big brains that literally just go in for like on one wallet for that one. I
That is
just
a grail.
die.
I just want to say I don't know how much Gwayman has heard, but
Oh my
that
God,
is
you
a
walked
grail.
into a fucking trap, but a fun one.
Yeah, but like we're talking about dick pics and
Oh
tiny
my.
penis.eth.
Someone owns it and they own only that as the ENS. I'm very jealous. I wonder what
Is
they
it their
would sell
primary
it
name?
for.
Is it their name? Is it their name?
Tiny Penis ETH is taken on ENS domain. I just checked.
No. Is it? Do you know if it's their primary name? I got to pull it up.
They only have that. That wallet only has tinypenis.eth. So
What did I just walk into? What is, what
So
is
we were talking
this?
about privacy and kind of like off the offshoot of everything, and I'm just surveillance, all that kind of thing. And I'm just like, so I used to have like an ex, I would have Messenger on like nudes on Messenger. And I was just like, you know what? I just accepted the fact that everyone at Meta has seen me nude. It's fine. I assume at this point. And so we were talking about dick pics and kind of how that operates. And I'm like, I said, no one ever wants it. So we're trying to think of how people are going to are they going to do that on blockchain? They're going to send it to somebody, which is first. Like, is it going to be like men sending it to women on chain and then like them, what is it? Women sending it back to them, being like, kind of like, fuck you, like pay for it. Or I'm just going to put it out as a minted as an NFT. Like, I could see that being a thing.
I think I heard something about that, or maybe somebody was joking around. They said if you ever get like an unwanted dick pic sent to you, minted on the blockchain, and then
where's Irene for this? I think that's
an
an Irene thing. I could see them doing that, or Ashley Deacon, or like something like that. I could see them doing that 100%.
Are you guys able to hear me loud and clear?
Holy shit! Yeah, your mic is great. Yeah, I would bring your volume a little down if you can.
Yes, sir.
Podcast with this, like I don't know anyone's shit at this point. Like that is a beautiful, beautiful podcast, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's for.
But that's a dick pic podcast, Mike. Yeah, tiny. I'm looking at them. Like they only have this.
No. It's better than that. It's better.
What else
it gets better.
What you got?
It gets better. Their primary. They don't just own the name. Their primary name. Right?
Yes.
The name of this wallet.
Genius.
The name of this wallet is Tiny Penis.
So 2032. They're fucking genius.
2032. Yeah, they are committed.
Big brain. Who owns this? I would say someone at Browsers, Pornhub. I could see either one, or Findom or something. I could see somebody from one of those sites owning this.
No 100%. Subdomains yet. It's subdomain free.
Oh shit. Oh my God, that's so much fun.
It's got subdomain potential.
That's amazing. That's an incredible subdomain. Are you kidding me? For the dominatrix field, I could see that being such a thing.
I could see the degens going crazy on this one. This is a
minting
whole
them and sending them to their friends.
Someone sending it to each other to diss them, like as ENS name, just being like,
"Fuck you and your tiny penis." What about micropenis.eth? There you go.
What the fuck? I was totally taken. You know what? That seems like it absolutely is. That's crazy.
Hey, sorry guys. I got like, I'll talk about anything, but I'm also easily diverted. I was like squirrel. I forget how we got in this like huge long tangent. We were talking about all sorts of Sam Bankman-Fried and just the potential corruption happening. Oh yeah, crazy stuff. I don't even know. Oh yeah, then we were talking about like, how CZ. We were talking about CZ and his access to information, and then we were talking about how basically phones and computers are basically pre-hacked, and people need to have really, people should potentially there's no potential. Like people should learn about blockchain security. People should learn about blockchain privacy. People should learn about blockchain cryptography because people have no privacy in the world. And then Rachel went on this like, I don't want to throw Rachel on, like, this is not like under the bus or anything. Then Rachel was talking about, Rachel's bringing a spice talking about how, people like when you send like photos through when you send photos to your phone or any website, the like Facebook, right? Facebook has a copy of that. Your phone has a copy of that. Because there's new software that scans every photo that you send and receive, and can delete. It can also delete it from your phone. Yeah, it can also delete it from your phone. And they added it under the guise of like CP, right? If you have CP, then I don't want to say what that spells, but then that allows law enforcement to be notified automatically. But it can be used for anything. It could be like if you have a picture of like an illegal puppy, right? It's like puppies are illegal. You can't have puppies, or like
An illegal puppy.
yeah, or hey, this person's taking a picture of like like I don't know, whatever. It's like literally anything. You know what I mean? Whatever is illegal, you could just say, hey, scan
Exotic
for
animals.
pictures. Yeah.
Tigers, exotic animals and tigers. That's totally, I can see that.
Yeah.
Miami, right? They all got it. I'm sure they got everything, man.
Someone texts someone a picture of a tiger. It's like, yeah, law enforcement could get that photo right away if they just like pushed a button, right, and said, look for tigers, so all that, and the NSA has a copy of all that, FBI or whoever. Yeah. So, it's just, so yeah, I don't know enough about cryptography to know how far that rabbit hole really goes, but I know enough to know that, people need to be cautious, because it's really hard to do security. It's really hard to do privacy on the blockchain.
Yeah, everything's transparent, man. It's gonna come back to you. I feel like a dickhead, or I'm sorry, that's not PG-13.
We're cutting a little bit.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like one, man. I thought it was 9:30 for some reason. It's 9. And I was having some technical difficulties. I got some router work coming to my house tomorrow because, man, my stuff's been hit. I had to unplug the router for like 20 minutes just so I could get on here. So I'm late, but I'm fashionably late. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, people, people can jump in and jump out. It's cool, having people here and talking and get a groove going. But no, man, like I said, we can't get as many as 10 people on this stream, if they're people that make the conversation jive. But yeah, man, I just love, me, man, on Twitter Spaces. I love connecting with people, and this is just great, being able to connect with video, being able to share our screens. If anyone wants to share their screen and not get me banned off YouTube,
Yeah, no, this is fun. I was looking forward to it. Like I said, I had some doctor's appointments with the daughter today, so she's a bit fussy, but we're good to go. It's the first time I've seen Ron in here, and I think, is it Rachel? It was nice to meet you, Rachel. How you doing over there, Ron? You doing good, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I'm just living the dream.
Hell yeah.
Living the dream.
Rocking the ENS maxi.
Spent my last $8 today on a blue check, so I'm just killing time right now.
I bought one too. I wanted to experiment with it and have some fun.
I already was on Twitter Blue. I'm a chump, and I was like, let me upgrade this and have the fucking check mark, because let me do me. I want that dopamine hit of seeing it. I just wanted it. If that's worth $8 to me, is a dopamine hit of like, my ass is verified, look at me. Yeah. But also I heard that the algorithm will fuck you if you don't have it, apparently.
It's one New York City latte.
It is actually dead ass. It is. I live in Brooklyn, and yeah, that's accurate. I have paid $8 for coffee in the past month, and it has been upsetting. And they will price gouge you on everything. I own pricegouge.eth. It is for sale. Thank you very much. That's my favorite. Good. Anyone else like going and just doing a total degen? Like, I think they're like, this would be a kick-ass party. It's like you go and you see what's still available, and you just keep going. You go around, someone like names a category, and you try to find out what ENS is still available, and you just mint it. It's like $8 to $10. I do that for fun. I like to get a little high and go do that.
Say, I do that. I do that in my own time sometimes. So I think
I do that all the time. It's so much fun. I'm like,
I've done that like 3,000 times though, and those $8 add up.
I know it's bad, but like it's fun. Who cares? It's low stakes gambling. It's fun. I would pay $8 for like $8 to $10 for like a dopamine hit like that.
I've sold a couple that
I have a degree in writing, so I'm like, this is great for me. So I'm like, I'm gonna be using my college degree, and I'm just gonna use all my vocab and words and stuff. I'm like, I'm a big brain with words, so I'm just like, let me just use that with vocabulary and see what I can come up with, and just say, fuck it.
If someone wants to use that as their identity, when we have millions or hundreds of millions or even billions of people looking for an identity, it's like I do the same thing. I do like movie lines, Saturday Night Live skips. Like I have
that's a good one.
One of my favorites is like the caveman lawyer. If you go old school, right? Phil Hart.
Yeah.
He was the caveman lawyer, and I got that. And it's like somebody's gonna, some 50+ lawyer who watch that's gonna want that as their identity. I paid $8 for it, and they're gonna pay me $500 to a couple $1,000 for it, right? And at some point,
Really?
and movie lines, and like I got, for example, stuff off T-shirts, like I got kissmybass.eth, because there's millions of bass fishermen in the U.S. Some pro bass fishermen might pay me $500 to $5,000 for that. He'll want that to be his identity. So all this fun stuff. The bar isn't as high as, I was an early .com guy back in the mid 90s, so I got in early on the .com boom, but there's kind of a high bar because you needed a business use for that. Whereas with ENS, I'm just thinking identity, any cool saying, any urban dictionary term, any to me is good. Like one of my favorite grails that I own is, remember way back Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Spicoli shows up to Clay, and the teacher's like, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "Hey, dude." He rips up his schedule. Spicoli looks at him. He's like, "You dick," So that's one of my favorite movie lines all the time. So I have youdick.eth.
That's genius. Not even because of Fast Times.
Isn't that great? To me, that's a grail.
That is a grail. That's 100% a grail. You can use that as a very highly expensive way of dissing someone. I love that for you. I love that.
Exactly.
That's, I think, certain disses. I have one that's fuckyourdao.eth. I think that's going to one day be an absolute banger. Because people would just trade it, exchange it back and forth as a way to be like, fuck your DAO, fuck you, fuck this. Like, I could see someone going and actually paying a couple $100 for this easily.
Well, like, that's it. Look, if someone will pay you $500, $500, and you paid 10 for it, right? That's it. That's nothing. When anything short, creative, I believe people are going to want it, right? When you start thinking identity, don't think domain names. It's good to explain ENS as a domain name because it makes sense. Like if we have a time machine, we can go back and we can register and we're all billionaires, right? But it's 1,000 times better than that. It's every email, it's every username, it's every everything, right? So it's like it's so much more broad. I believe stuff that we're so embarrassed with, we're hiding it right now. We don't want anyone to see, is going to potentially make you 100x on your investment. So I think right now we DJ it out. If we did right now what Rachel just suggested, 5 years from now, everything we register right now will sell for $500. 99, even if it's 9 out of 10, So
I completely agree. My husband gives me so much shit for it, but I'm like, this is just fun. I just pass it off. This is fun. I don't care. And I'm looking at the ones I have. I've been going with the theme of like internet error messages and kind of like I have no longer available.eth. That's pretty good. That's my favorite one. So I'm thinking the level of like internet messaging, because thinking of what you would actually use or do in terms of supply and demand, I kind of have shit in that area. I've got, let's see, that I minted these. These are so fun, like price gouge. Sparkling beverage. I want Nestle or someone to buy that off of me, because thinking about a subdomain, certain things you have to think of like the nomenclature of what you say for it, of like, oh, it's a frozen dairy dessert. Someone should own that, because that's how you would actually have to classify things like as an item. Malt liquor. Someone totally owns malt liquor.eth, 100%. There's no way that one's not taken. That's my fun, is like I just do this all the time. Like, I think of something, I'm like, would this be a good .eth? Would this work? Would this be a fun one? Like, what even go?
I made a trade with a buddy in it, and trade, he threw in an extra name, and it was gotmilf.eth, and I gave it to my wife just for fun, and she sold it for like
it's a lot.
Like 0.3 or something, and it was a gift, so it was a couple hundred.
That's a really good one. That's a very good one.
I think I bet you someday that sells
worth a lot of money.
$10,000.
Yeah, it's gonna be
more. I think porn sites would buy it more.
That's true.
Porn sites are going to be the biggest buyers of ENS, in my personal opinion, just because it makes more sense. They're going to probably be faster to all of this, just because the sex industry, which probably one of the largest industries in the world, no one quantifies it. It's insane how people don't actually say about sex work or sex industry or pornography. Like, Everyone's watching it. Everyone's buying. Like, why would that not be the area to do this? And think of like certain kinks, certain fetishes. Why people pay like that in Web 2. Imagine what they would pay if they could have that in Web 3. That's kind of
There's
how I
a
feel
guy in
about that.
Spaces
Like,
one night. He was drinking and he brought it up. He said he was trying to sell clown porn.eth and it just wasn't up my alley. And I don't know.
I am down to clown.
But,
I remember that. I remember that.
Did he come? Did he sell it?
No, because he swore he was gonna hold on to it and sell it for like 10 ETH or something. So
100%.
It's honestly worth 10 ETH. It's honestly worth 10 ETH. I'm
crazy.
telling you, man, it's worth 10
You
ETH.
guys
I
are
mean,
saying
like,
I don't even
wouldn't-
know what it means, but I think it's worth 10 ETH. Hey, Gray Man, turn up your mic a little bit. You're a little quieter
I'm
than
quiet.
everybody else.
there we go. Is that a little bit better? Mic
Yeah,
check,
a little
mic check.
better. But yeah, no, that's once again, that's a good name that's a good identity, even though I have no idea what it means. And I'm probably not going to go Google it. 'cause
I've
I'm
never
afraid,
watched it.
But
I'm now intrigued.
She's looking it up. Oh my! I sold
No,
them.
no, I was looking back at the ENS one, to be like, what do I have? But
I paper handed a good one. I had sexual content.eth and sex content.eth, and I sold it in a bundle. I sold it in a
Oh.
bundle. I registered it though, so it was cool to flip it. I flipped it for like 0.4 for like the bundle
That's
or
pretty
something
good.
like that.
honestly,
I was
fuck
happy
it.
with it.
Take your small win. Take the
Yeah.
wins. Honestly, if you're making enough, like whatever, you're 10xing, you're pretty much you probably 10x that bitch. So honestly, it's fine.
Yeah, I did, and that's just it. That's what I went for. I like your idea of the fun registrations. I have 2 that I did for fun. I was watching the Ian Escobar, or not the Ian Escobar movie. I was watching the Escobar movie with minting Ian Escobar, and I sold that.
That's
and then
sad. That's awesome. That's like badass. I like it. That's a good choice.
the dude loved it. I sold it cheap because he was a buddy, and then I also registered pimphand.eth just for fun, and I sold that too.
What? That's such a good one. Oh man.
0.2 pimp hand.
I just thought of like, all right. I was like just excited by yours. I was like, I looked up Black Jeopardy.eth is available of like out of like SNL skits. It is available. Thinking about it. You're like tempting me to buy that one. That is like, I was like trying to think. Yeah, I like that idea. Some people have like anything related to The Office. That's totally gonna go for money. Anything related to Harry Potter, money.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Making money with something like that. Whoever is gotten into like Hagrid.eth, like honestly, that person's a fucking king. I want to know who they are and what they've got.
Rest in peace, Hagrid.
Yeah. Oh man, shit, you're right. Fuck. Named already registered. We all know that, but who owns it? Let's go. Let's see who's got Hagrid.eth. I want to know the big brain that was smart enough to think about this.
I don't know, but I got rest in peace.
That's brilliant. You have that. They have Google.eth, Alpaca.eth. That's a good one. Hangry.eth, Twerk.eth. This person's a damn. They have Voldemort spelled wrong, so I don't know if I trust them. Salty.eth. Oh, that's a good one. Oh man.
I seen Gary over there. He was doing the cheat code, the copy and paste off Google, and then paste in the bulk search. Just paste a whole website in there, see what's available.
No, I like to do it by hand. This is a sport. In the future, this will be a sport.
I hand code HTML.
Everyone's that. You know what I think? When everyone's like metaverse this, metaverse that for absolutely everything, I'm like, we're gonna be like in Wall-E where everyone's fat and just like on these motorized things and just kind of like looking at the screen. This is where we're headed toward if you're metaverse only. Honestly, like, is that what it is? You're gonna be like in a pod? Are you gonna be? What are you doing with that? Like, it better be transcending stuff for me.
I would push back against that a little bit because a lot of the people, I'm not super VR, but a lot of the people that I see in VR, the people that are like getting exposed, they're moving their bodies. You know what I mean? They're like doing like the sword fighting, and they're standing up, and they're moving their hands, and you know. And then we're talking about having these suits, right? Like in Ready Player One, that stuff is real. The suit where it's stimulating your body when you get hit and whatnot, which. You know, it does, yeah, seem like the opposite of Wall-E. Like, I still think we're gonna, like, a lot of percentage of people are gonna sort of get fat and sit in a chair and end up eating each other with like in the form of slushy mix. It seems like a lot of the time the world does go that way in dystopian films, and our, you know, we are in a simulated dystopian film. So I have no doubt we will be slurping on each other in the form of slushies. But
That sounds so funny.
but I do think, yeah, like slurping slushies.eth. There you go. But I do think that a huge portion of people in the metaverse, because a human being does need to be physically active to some degree in order to, you got to have like some resemblance of a brain, and a good brain does require, some sense of physical activity. And the VR that I'm seeing, like even the machines that are like throwing you around, like the really high end ones, or every like Wii or what that some kid has their house, they're really moving their bodies a lot. So I do have hope in that direction.
Yeah, I've seen Somnium Space. They're pretty cool from what I've seen. It's like the closest I've seen to the Ready Player One, and they actually have it's like I was talking to somebody about it, and say you wanted to race like your friend, you guys could show up to the lake, both drop like a boat in the water, and then boat race, and then whoever like paddles their arm the fastest will actually go faster. And then they even have a partnership with Tesla suits to where like you can wear a Tesla suit while you're in there. And that's when you feel the rain on your skin and you can feel the impact. I think that's crazy. That's some crazy stuff.
Tesla's got a
Well, look, I think we're already kind of there, though. I mean, as far as we see that, whether it's VR or AR, but right now, every day, we're on Spaces on Twitter. Now we're on YouTube with people for hours a day. On Friday nights, we get on with our friend NFTverse, and we've been doing it for 6 months. We get on there, we're hanging out in the virtual bar, and we're talking smack and whatever, drinking, smoking, whatever. Or, that's that's already kind of a Web3 thing that we're doing, and we do on a regular basis. So we're already kind of doing it right now. People on Zoom calls, we're already doing a lot of business, spending a lot of time doing a lot of networking with people literally all over the world on Twitter right now. I think that's the beginning stages. I mean, look, I've been on the internet since before Rachel and Gwayman here were even born. I never commented on one damn thing. I never got on social media. I never got on a chat room. I maybe invested in them and made money on them, but I never did any of that online to any of that crap, right? But yet here we are. I have 17 hours a day screen time on my phone. So I think we're already in the beginning of the metaverse, and we're already doing business. We're already in the web 1 world. We used to travel all over the United States teaching people in person, doing in real life events, literally, spending $500,000 a week to get teams all over teaching them about the internet. We're doing it for free on YouTube and on Twitter right now. So I think we're already kind of starting down that path. But yeah, what's it going to become? This in real life stuff is going to be interesting, or the real metaverse stuff.
We need to bring that back. People being $500,000 like a week onboard people. That would be amazing. Like for like companies be spending that.
But most of it was being spent, yeah. No, and we need to do in real life stuff, but most of that went to plane tickets, hotel rooms, at getting on radio shows and getting people there. But I'm just saying this is a lot more efficient.
It stimulates the economy. Also, I looked up when was the internet available for public consumption. I am 4 weeks younger than the internet. Thank you.
When was it?
Apparently, they're claiming late April '93, supposedly.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, Ron. I'm 48, bro.
What?
Damn, you look good, man. You need to have your own show about healthy living.
Yeah, staying young. 48, looking 16. That's how we do it. Nah, I'm lying. Yeah, internet's older than me, though. That's for sure.
I am like just the internet and I are like about a couple weeks apart. I made 20th '93, so it's like a couple weeks. So
I know her ledger password now.
Right, but like I think that birthday, that's fucking stupid.
And what street was it that you did grow up on?
I never would use that either.
What was your pet's first name?
I literally just got a pet, so my ledger is older than my pet. Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so back with the onboarding users and whatnot, we have a lot of fun, going to crypto conferences and connecting with each other and trying to get other people to go to crypto conferences to learn about all this crazy shit that we're doing. And it's a big, let's just be frank, it's a big circle jerk. It's all of us hanging out together and just like each
It's
of
the
us
best
like.
though. I never
Yeah, I
had
mean,
that
it's
before. I'm a woman. I feel like the girl stuff is all off of that. Like, no, I never felt
I
it
prefer
before.
echo
Listen,
chamber. Echo
I can't-
chamber, Gary.
Biggest
Echo
echo
chamber.
chamber though. Yeah,
It's
that's like you don't have any
yeah.
other hobbies. He literally
Sounds
said
better.
Rachel has me going off the deep end over here. Like I am all ready for the private members only show because like there's so much that I cannot say. I can't even say half the joke, or I can't even say half of like, it's not even a joke. It's like I want to give cultural references and I can't even give like cultural references because I don't know what I could do here. Anyway, so when at these festivals that we're going to, it's like we're just regurgitating the same information to each other, and we're having we're building like networking, and that's a very good thing. That's a very positive thing. But these conferences that we have in Web3, they're not doing really a lot in terms of onboarding people, right? And what I think that I saw ENS Vision do, and like if I had a guess, what they did is that they went to a conference, right? They went to a Lisbon conference, and a Lisbon conference was like I think it was Lisbon, but it was like a Web2 conference.
smart.
And there's all these Web3 companies going to Web2 conferences.
Smart. I was
And
thinking
then
about
they're
I'm going to a fintech
onboarding
thing
hardcore.
tonight.
Yeah, they're onboarding builders who know nothing about blockchain. And when those builders start learning about blockchain, and when they add things like signing with Ethereum EIP 4361, which is authentication, connect your wallet and authenticate using signing with Ethereum, because they want to have a website and they want their website to connect with an EMV blockchain, or they want their website to connect with somebody that has a EMV related NFT. When they do that, they're going to be exposing all of those Web2 users to the Web3 technology. And so when and you guys are talking about how back in the day, people would do all this traveling to teach people about the early internet. And yeah, so we have to do that, but we just have to make sure we're talking to the right audience. We got to talk to these Web2 builders, young, old, American, not American, you know what I mean, startup, enterprise. We got to talk to these Web2 builders that only know enough about blockchain from the news, and they've had a lot of hesitation getting into blockchain because the news have been telling them blockchain is for criminals, or blockchain is for drug dealers, or blockchain is a scam and you're gonna lose all your money, or blockchain is bad for the environment and you're a bad person if you buy NFTs. And so there's a lot of people that they just believe the news for better or for worse, and they don't they've hurt themselves for the past, I don't know, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, not getting involved in building authentic technology with these new protocols. And so yeah, I love onboarding moms and just like young people and all that on a consumer side. But just you guys are making me think, these Web2 builders and red pilling them, right? People that know how to build on Web2, red pilling them with what is Web2, red pilling them with Web3, right? I think it's going to onboard even more people, right? Because builders,
Gary, it's
builder
funny
equals 1,000 users.
This week, Gary, I had 3 people tell me, or my wife, I don't believe in NFTs, right? Okay. Didn't even respond, whatever, right? What I know is what you just said. They're reading the talking points and they don't even know what NFTs, and I get it, right? Okay. They don't even understand what an NFT is and they're already blowing it off. But that kind of goes back to one of the topics I know we're going to talk about. Vitalik posted today that 70% of the use case of NFT right now is ENS. I think that if you go to someone and say, well, look, .eth is the new .com, and we have an improved Web3 is an improved Web2, and ENS and the new websites, all the advantages, I think that makes a good bridge. Yeah. And so because yeah, the mentality was funny to me, and like I said, I didn't bother talking to them because for all I know, these people don't even understand what Bitcoin is. Why do they have an opinion on an NFT other than they heard some talking point? They got the cliff notes of NFTs or scams or whatever. But yeah, I think it's important to have something that actually has a use case, and that's why I'm so passionate on ENS, because ENS is that practical application.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really like about what Reddit did, because it's almost like they took a crowd of people that hate on NFTs and the way that people are doing things, and they almost like they got them involved without them knowing that they got involved. It's like, yeah, you don't care until you flip one for a big win, and then you're like, holy crap, where's the next one? And that's just the trading aspect. But that's like to dip the toes in the water, give them a little bit of a reward, and then they might dive deeper on, okay, what's OpenSea? What are these NFTs? Okay, buy low, sell high. Okay, I can mint these things, and then kind of understand, all they did was throw on the digital collectibles instead of calling it NFT, and people were all about it. So that's where I see, when it comes to video games, once these video games implement, you can buy these skins or these clothing or these gadgets, and then you can keep them or sell them later for a higher price. That's when, like you got to almost have them interact with it without them knowing that they're interacting with it, and then that's going to really help it grow.
Shit, yeah. I thought that was the funniest thing ever was like the comments on Reddit of being like, but thinking that they're so much better than people who buy NFTs, but you're buying NFTs at the same time. That was the funniest shit. I loved it. And like, I'm a Reddit lurker. I've been on Reddit for like 10 years. I love it. But like, no, my opinion on all that shit, fuck no. Like just the drama.
Why do gamers hate NFTs?
What?
Why are all the gamers hating on NFTs?
They're just being stupid. They're being stupid haters.
It's just because they haven't got a win yet. That's all. You just gotta let people win one time. It's like
no. Because the Redditors are full. The Redditors are full of this tribe of like NFT haters, and like one of the number one things that the NFT haters and listen, these guys are all over Twitter. We talked about this a couple times on the ENS update show. I see them attack all the time. There's like Joywave. I like this band called Joywave. It's kind of a popular band. It's from my hometown, so it's like extra cool. And their friends had an NFT project. That NFT project, Joywave retweeted it. Joywave's like a whole fan base on Twitter. I don't know if this was all bots and whatnot, but the fan base on Twitter was all attacking, be like, oh, you're like killing the environment. What's wrong with you? I'm not going to buy your CD. And they deleted the tweet. It's like this mob. I don't know if it's, but you see it on Twitter, you see it on Reddit, and the majority of these folks are just like they have it in their head that you're gonna like you're killing the planet and you're destroying the world, and and they're like all these bad things. Like I don't want to say it's NPC, but when you try to explain some of the aspects or counter arguments, say, hey, this isn't really destroying the environment, or this is like a legitimate business, or this is just a technology for supply chain tracking. It's just this army of people that just have it in their head, right? I mean, have you guys not seen it? Like this army of people that just attack anyone that talks about NFTs.
Oh yeah.
Well, Gil, I talked about the in real life events we used to do for the internet. Literally, a portion of the audience, let's say we had 100 people, 10 or 20 people would stand up halfway through or a third of the way. So at some point, some group of those people would stand up, scream at us that it was a scam, that we were just trying to steal people's credit cards, And back then, people were comfortable giving their credit cards over the phone. They thought if they put it online, and literally, the same people that are flooding NFTs and stuff, their mom and dads were getting up and flooding the internet and leaving, and we'd have to have them escorted out, or they would just leave and tell everyone, get out, this is a scam. They're trying to scam you, right? Talking about the internet. And that's what we experienced. I can see it today. I remember the first time it happened. I can see the hotel room. I know right where I was, and a bunch of people got up and yelled at us and called us scammers and left. And that happened every single time for years and years, right? So it's just people that don't get it. They've been, like I say, they got some talking point and they heard it was a scam. They hate NFTs. They hate Bitcoin. They hate whatever, and that's just, we'll overcome that. It's just the cycle. But yeah, and like I say, it's ingenious that Reddit, the way they went to buy it, and it is a digital asset, and they hate NFTs, but they love their digital assets. So it'll happen.
I'm more bullish than ever after hearing that, actually. Way more bullish, actually. Like, that really, like, just solidified it. I'm like, okay, good. There's sometimes you can have a little doubts every once in a while, especially right this week in particular. Definitely been a lot of, like, showing who really cares and who doesn't, and who's here for just, like, the big wins and doesn't want to see the whole system through. Whatever. But that made me feel extra bullish. So
yeah, it's been a crazy week. That's why I'm lucky enough to have all my ETH spent on names, and that's one good thing about being broke out here is it's like, oh, can't get no worse. I'm already holding things. I'm just here now.
And all your NFTs, none of them were on FTX, right? None of them were on centralized. That's the thing. Think of how much better if you were 100% NFTs, 100% ENS names. Where are those? They're all in your MetaMask. They're all on your ledger, right? We didn't get affected. This didn't affect us. I got affected, like I say, very slightly because I own some Solana. It wasn't on FTX, and it was on a decentralized wallet, right? But it got affected and cost us. But none of us got liquidated. None of us can't access our NFTs. They might not be worth anything. We can access our names. They may be worthless at this point, but you know what? We still have them. They're not gone.
That's where I'm at with it, man. I just get to meme and joke around and still show up every day because I'm like, whoa, this is getting ugly. but yeah, like I said,
it's better than it was with like Shilling Villain versus like that kind of fight like bullshit that was happening last week. Now people are coming together for real problems. Like the week before it was just like straight up like stupidity of like influencers fighting each other and fighting. It like makes everyone look bad.
Though it's crazy. People love it. I know some people that are pretty educated and they're like, I get involved just because it's entertaining. And I'm like, you guys, like, that's just it. Some people are here and they're just entertaining. You don't even have to be on the topic. You don't even have to care. You just have to scream and just like, talk about some stuff that people want to hear, which is, I think it's easier, honestly. It's easy to hop on there and just kick it and say what you want, but then to like really be involved and stick through the hard times, it's a little bit different when you're like actually caring about what's going on.
Yeah, man. A lot of people care. You get to see who cares. I mean, this is the best time to see who cares, and it kills extra, right? To see like the people hurting, and it's just like, man, it's like you try to save people. You can only do so much to save people, right? To like teach them to self-custody or to teach them like the risks of centralized exchanges. And sometimes I wonder, I mean, this is my third bear market now, and I just wonder like how many times does someone have to get burned, right? Like I got burned once, right? I made a couple different mistakes. I feel like I made each of my mistakes once. And some people, they make their mistakes 0 times, but other people, they make the mistake 10 times in a row. It's like, how many times are you going to learn to keep your money off the centralized exchange? How many times you got to get burned to learn don't leverage trade? People just need to get serious about protecting themselves and like being in it for the long term. And that's a big problem, is that too many people have a short-term thinking, short-term mentality. They want to get like a lot of reward right now, and they don't want to like, I don't know if it's doing the work, or I don't know if it's doing the waiting. Right? Like, what's harder? Is it harder to do the work, or is it harder to do the waiting? Because some people just have no ability to hold patience.
I think the waiting.
Sell too quick.
Yeah, definitely the waiting. The waiting's the hardest part because, the waiting's the hardest part, and it really is. I think that's it. Look, to take any little kid, right? Offer them one piece of candy today or 10 pieces of candy tomorrow. What are they going to take?
Depends.
They're going to take the one piece of candy today, and we're all the same. We're no different.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true, because I think that some people, I mean, and I'm speaking for myself even here, some of the work is fun. You enjoy it. It's almost like, I'm doing something. You feel productive. You feel like proud of yourself. And then a day that you don't do any work or you don't do anything and you're just sitting on your bags, it's like, man, I feel like I got to do something. So like, let me sell early, or let me make a sale, or let me flip this, or let me, I'll take a loss because then I have this to play with. And at least that, that's my issues is the waiting. And that's why I'll even have good things. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it's a quick 10X and it could potentially be like 1,000X. And I'm like, I made a 10X, which is cool for like taking the little wins. But at the same time, I think it could be a bad thing because it is that waiting. I've definitely lost a few good things just because I was so eager. Ron's one, Ron hears it all the time, and this is just like a side little joke thing, but the ENS maxis, man, nobody was rocking with them, and I grabbed one early. I bought a diamond the first day for 0.05, and I had some buddies picking on me. They're like, why would you even buy one of those all secondary? I said, I like them. So I bought a diamond. 2 days later, I got a 0.25 offer. And instead of being like, nah, I bought it because I like it, like I was like, man, this could go down any day. These things might not even run. They were like $2 floor. I said, I'm gonna take this quarter ETH, and I was very proud of myself. And then looking at it now, it's like,
it's
maybe I should have held it. Yeah, that's just it. I'm cool with the wins. But then later down, I'm like, maybe I should have been patient with that one. But it is what it is, and I just keep it rolling regardless. I like to think that I do the right moves, and that's just a little ENS maxi thing,
Well, yeah, but you know what? And that's funny. But honestly, if they'd gone to zero, how many times? 9 times out of 10, you made the right move. This time it was the wrong move, but that's okay because you're playing the averages, right? The other 9 times you did that. It would have been the right move. In this case, it was the wrong move. So statistically speaking, it's still the right. It's like in poker, right? If the pot's big enough and your odds are better, you make that bet. It's just an over a lifetime or over a long period of time. That taking profits is never wrong. And you know what? It's just like the people that gave away the punks and the board
that's
apes,
crazy.
right? That turned
That's
into
crazy.
millions. What if you gave your friends? There's people I know that gave away 10 or 20 to their friends. They gave away $20 million, right? But the other 1,000 times that you gave NFTs to your friends, they went to zero. So it's cool. Yeah. It's still good to take your profits. And hey, that's why I tell people like the ENS maxis, buy 3, keep 1 for yourself, keep 1 when they go to, $500, and then take 1 when it goes to an ETH and hold on to 1 in case they go farther. And, that's the difference. The people that held on to them, even the golden apes and stuff, they're turning around away 2,500 ETH offers because they already made millions of dollars and they can afford to do it, right? If you had 1, I promise you, if you got a 2,500 ETH offer, you took it. And so that you just have to have enough. Right now, if you're flipping some ENS domains, it's okay. If you have 500, flip a couple dozen of them. Who cares? Right now, I'll take a lot less money. I don't even know if I've sold any other than a few 4 digits, but I guarantee if someone offered me a less, I'd take less because it's profits than because I have a bunch more that I can hold long term.
That makes sense to me. Like, you might as well take the profit and hold it. Like, sell shaming needs to calm down. People need to show us sell shaming. I think for the next few months, it's going to be rough for everybody. 100%. And sell shaming is just going to make it worse. Everyone's going to be selling. That's it. Like, I'm a big diamond hander. Like, I've had held stuff for almost a year at this point, a couple of things. Like, you take, and that's a buyer.
And there's a buyer. When you're sell shaming someone for selling, it's complete bullshit because you're totally neglecting the person that did the buying, right? You can't have a seller without a buyer. You can't have a seller without a buyer. I mean, even if it's algorithmically done, there's still a buyer in the algorithm. And so if I like floor sell some grail, then that's like, wow, like me, I look at that person, I'm like, well, maybe they didn't care. Maybe they didn't see the value. Maybe they really needed the money because there's an emergency in their life. Like, I don't know. But what about that person that just got that score, that just got that sale? It just bought that. Like, stop shaming the, like the whole sell shaming comes because people, they think the floor is going, right? They think the floor is falling, and it's like this. Yeah, I mean, what it is. It's like selfishness that they think the value of their bag is going down because someone else is selling. And it's like too much focus on the price instead of like knowing that, what this thing is about. And that's like the difference is that some of these NFT projects are just about the price. and other NFT projects, you know, are built around something else, right? Like even Nike, right? Like Nike's not built around making money. Nike's not built around like selling shoes or shirts or whatever, right? Nike's about just like encouraging people to like do sports, right? It's encouraging like winners, and it's encouraging sports activity, right? And then like they happen to sell shoes and stuff. That's what NFT projects need to become. They got to be like mission driven, purpose driven. And then it's like, oh yeah, we have merch, and oh yeah, we have like these events, and oh yeah, we do this. But you know, like our core isn't doing this. Our core is like, I don't know, man, like pick a lane.
Agreed.
No, for real. Yeah, that's exactly the point. I mean, utility, that's the use case for everything. But still, I gotta drop. So good night. Thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks for hanging out.
Hey,
Thanks
good
for
to
hanging
meet
out
you.
with us.
Same.
Alrighty. How long you been going? Oh, hour and a half already. Yeah, I came in late tonight.
Yeah, 90 minutes. Yeah, it's cool though. It's cool though. I mean, we could keep it going. But yeah, I mean, people can drop in, drop out. Yeah, going over a lot of the crazy things that are happening with FTX and the market, and just like how things were like, you know, connected to potential like, you know, political stuff, and just how it's like connected to the regulators, and just, yeah, I mean, things were like going crazy, and I had this like pulled up. I thought this was like really important for people to remember, and it's just simply that the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent, right? Like a great point to remember from Signal, and what she's saying is that, you know, like just a lot of people are successful because against a positive macro environment, their strategies work, and a bear forces actors to win through tough conditions, and those who can't get exposed, right? Rising tide lifts all ships. And then the bear market, you know, you see who's going to swim and who's going to hit rock bottom. And just people, they try like keeping up their, you know, whatever game is, if it's not legitimate, if it's not, you know, actually driving value, if it's not actually making money, then, you know, how long can someone keep that going? Like they can keep it going forever in a bull market, right? There's always a greater fool in a bull market. There's always someone else to sell to. There's always new money. There's always easy money. There's always like, you know, you could always get a better percentage to someone that doesn't have as good of a percentage that they're looking for. But in a bear market, the you know, like wherever you place your bets. I mean, I guess this is true in a bull market too, but the market can just do the opposite of what you logically think is true longer than you can keep up, you know, an artificial, you know, game or something that's simply going against, you know, the game that's being played against us.
Well,
Definitely.
you know, you almost need to think of it as almost like a battle, almost like a siege, right? What army wins in a siege? Whichever one can maintain the longest and last and be the last man standing. So we think of the basics. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? I got hurt a little bit on Luna. I owned some Luna. I got out pretty quick, but I still took a little bit of a hit on Luna. I took a little bit of a hit on Celsius, and I took a slight hit because I had a large position in Solana as a result of FTX. But those are all paper cuts, right? None of them was getting an arm or a leg chopped off, right? Don't have your eggs in one basket. I literally had none of those on centralized exchanges, so I didn't get hurt there. And not having, you know, it's not even betting more than you can lose. It's investing more than you can, you know, see through to the end. Like right now, don't buy more ENS names that you can't see through that 5 years, right? And it's all these little basic things that we probably learned in you know, when we were little kids. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
If you're lucky.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, yeah, exactly. I don't know what
Not
the kids
nowadays,
are learning these
Ron.
days.
Like me, like I know,
Yeah,
I know
don't have
you're,
kids,
I
so
know
I
you're a
don't
young
even know,
whippersnapper. I know you're a young whippersnapper, but you know, I mean, nowadays, I don't know if that's done as much, right? The school system seems to be rigged against kids. You know, like I'm sure they're not learning how to balance checkbooks, right? Not that that would do them any justice anyway, but how many kids are really learning entrepreneurship? How many kids are learning about money creation, where money comes from, how to save money, how to make money, right? Like just like basic economic and entrepreneurial principles. Like I don't really see a lot of that. Or if you do see that, it's just a class, or it's just a couple of weeks, or it's just like a semester. And you know, it's like the kids just need to learn that somewhere. And you know, if they don't learn it early in life, then they learn it when they're young men or young women. And what happens is what we're seeing happen, and they get burned over and over and over again, believing, you know, these YouTubers that are like telling them to, you know, invest in these exchanges or into these tokens or into these things, without giving like proper context or like proper disclaimers, or just like protecting people in terms of the security of the privacy. You know,
Yeah, do you know how many people ask me about Doge? You know how many friends called me and asked me
it's
about
horrible.
Doge? 1 to 2 weeks after you needed to make that move. You needed to make the move on the Monday before the Friday or Thursday or whatever it was when Elon took over. You needed to make the move when it was 5.5 cents. You wrote it to 15 cents. I didn't do it, but I knew I could have, right? And I'm getting friends calling me when it's 15 cents. They're calling, hey, I got it. How do I buy those? I'm like, dude, I just kind of put them off, and until they kind of went away, because I didn't want them to buy it at 15 cents. But they were all wanting to, I want to put 25,000 in Doge. No, you don't. No, you don't. When you could buy 25,000 yesterday in Ethereum or Chainlink or Bitcoin or something of actual value. But no, you know, and they all they wanted to do, and I don't know if they heard it on TikTok or what the hell, but you know, that was a week after the move needed to be made. So you're right. People are just getting the wrong information. But yeah, and I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know. I'd probably be just shocked at what kids aren't learning today, right? What's
Ron, do
what's
you have
happening?
TikTok?
What's that?
Do you have a TikTok?
No, I don't have TikTok.
I don't.
But with the ones I see, it's just horrible. The people like giving financial advice on those things.
No, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's I guarantee that's where the Doge thing is getting. I remember it before. At one point, I literally owned 10 million Doge that I paid like $2,000 for something. So it was a joke. It was back in the early days in 15, 16, 17, 18. It was just kind of fun. I remember there was this got hacked, but I don't even remember the name of it. But there was an exchange in New Zealand, and they had Doge pairs because all these shit coins had so many zeros. This was before Uniswap and all that stuff. The only way to trade these shit coins was to have Doge pairs. So I had all this Doge, and it was just kind of funny. I always thought it was funny. Honestly, never in a million years imagined it would go to 80 cents or whatever it did.
Yeah, well, a part of it's just the human nature and human psychology of things. It's like I don't know how like we really fix it, because on one hand, what we have is that when people, it's like we hear, Nike stocks, or we hear Bitcoin currency or Ethereum or whatever, that it hits an all-time high, and people hear it hits an all-time high. That makes news. It reaches a lot of people, and all these new people see it, and then they get FOMO, and then you can't stop the news from going out there. You can't stop people from having the FOMO, and then people go buy and the price goes down, and you can't really stop them from buying. You can't stop the price from going down because of the human nature and because of the way the math works, right? And at the same time, so the counter to that is the regulators, and the regulators are trying to regulate. The regulators are trying to regulate DeFi, take DeFi away. And, like we saw, what's really funny is that DeFi is the only thing that, hasn't hurt people. Like DeFi is actually audited, and it's actually working. And so Kraken, which is an exchange, US based exchange, I'm pretty sure they're based out of Wyoming. Jesse Powell, they're saying that the crypto community needs to raise our standards to put an end to bad actors. And, without even getting into the whole article, if the crypto community doesn't raise our standards, then eventually we will have regulators that try to raise our standards for us, right? And we do need to figure out how do we, because we're builders, right? It's like I know you guys. I know you guys are building. I know you guys are growing. I know you guys are connecting with other builders of all different types. We just need to like have some sort of intentional awareness to building with standards like Web3 standards to protect people from human psychology, while at the same time not taking away their sovereignty, not taking away their freedom, not adding centralized components, right? But there needs to be this balance, and and just the way to talk about that is by raising the standards and not losing the ethos, not losing like the reasons why we're here. So I just think that we just need more people to sort of like build this into the ethos of what they're doing, right? Like how do we hold ourselves accountable, right? How do we hold other people accountable? How do we hold people, and this is a big one, how do we hold people accountable without making them a pariah, right? How can we like say, hey, we don't like this, without having a mob of people trying to come at them with like pitchforks and proverbial pitchforks and whatnot?
Well, I think it's a process, like think of we say it's the Wild West sometimes. And you think about that. Back then, you had these roving gangs of stagecoach robbers and people, robbing pioneers and things like that. And eventually they kind of, hey, we need, if we want people to really be able to come west or whatever, we kind of got to clean out these we got to go, got to be careful when we go through these certain areas and whatever. And I think it's just a matter of having these experiences. Unfortunately, hindsight's 2020, but those of us that have been in the space that have seen this now, I mean, look, I know you're a big fan of Richard Hart, and I liked Richard Hart way before he ever did Hex and stuff, because you know what, he's a really smart guy who had been around, and I used to love his live streams, and he really passed on a lot of alpha. And look at all the stuff he says over and over again. He's been calling out these middlemen. He's been calling out the centralized exchanges, and there's a guy that I saw trending today, like Richard Hart was right or some crap like that. But he was actually, people think he's a scammer, but yet again, I always hear him talking against gambling, talking against video game addiction, talking against, he came out I remember on a stream when people were talking about pay to earn video games, and he said, what a horrible thing. You have this horrible, potentially negative thing, and now we're encouraging people, even worse by giving them money to do it. He himself admits that at one point he was addicted to gaming, and that doesn't mean that it's a completely bad thing, but it can be. When they had the first little Hexagon convention, in Vegas, I saw him tweeting to people, don't gamble, don't be gambling when you're there, and it's like he's talked out against a lot of these bad things, and in retrospect, all those fundamentals he said were true, and that's because he's been around since 2011, right? And he was really involved in it. He's a smart guy. We just need to do the same thing and just warn against when we see this pop up again next cycle, like it will. When we see the FOMO, we've got to advise people against the FOMO. We've got to I think that's the only way we can do it, is use our lessons and then get the word out there and share this message. And when we see something, we got to call it out or warn against it. When we see something that's sketchy or possibly sketchy, we need to get out and we need to, sound the alarm or educate people.
It's funny your take on Richard Hart, because I am a little bit later to the crypto game. I definitely haven't been here as long as you guys. I didn't buy crypto till just a few years ago, and I got into NFTs not too long ago, really. And all I know of Richard Hart is his cringy flexes on Twitter with his outfits and his Gucci watch and his Gucci purse and his Gucci flip flops and Gucci sweatpants, and just like that's all I know him for. So maybe I'll take his word a little bit more serious after hearing that.
Well, what's funny, Gray Man, is he will sit right there and tell you, don't buy this overpriced stuff. He'll say, hey, I'm doing this. I want to associate my name with these cheesy Rolexes because I'm kind of a watch snob. Like, I hate Rolexes, especially gaudy ones. And now I admit they're the most well-known. They're the most liquid. They're the most in demand. But honestly, if you're a real connoisseur of Swiss watches, Rolex is like 20. They don't keep good time. They're not really, you know. So I'm kind of a nod swab, so I cringe at that. But he literally says, I'm associating my brand with Rolex, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, whatever. This stuff looks like shit, especially on him. And don't buy it. Here's what I'm doing. So he's teaching the marketing principle, and he's getting all these hits and all this attention to his brand by associating himself with that brand. So yeah, you got to kind of look past but you know, if you understand where he's coming from, yeah, you see what he's doing, and he'll flat out tell you what he's doing. And it is funny, but yeah, but I knew him way before. Even then, he was a little bit, you know, back then, even in the early days, he was a little bit cringy on his chair and his you know, like he lives in some castle bullshit. But yeah, but no, it is funny. But no, bottom line is, yeah, and I don't know that I don't know that his Hex thing, you know, I mean, I got in day one. Hex did well on it, but I still don't know how good the project is and if it'll be here in 5 years. But himself, he shares some alpha, and the whole cringy thing is funny. And I remember when he was in his you know, I mean, he doesn't have the greatest body. When he was up there twerking in his tracksuit, I definitely minted sickandwrong.eth, and that was inspired by Richard Hart twerking in his small Gucci tracksuit on his fat, disgusting body.
That's hilarious, man. I think I might have cut Gary off. I think he wanted to show us something. I also want to say what's up to NFL champs.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
How we doing, man? You see it.
Gary, what's going on? Ron, what's good? Thanks for having me on, my guys. How's everybody's night going?
Splendid.
Love it, man.
It's splendid.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. What are we
I
talking
can
about,
hear you.
Richard Hart?
Oh my goodness, we're talking about so much. I mean, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you what we're talking about. What we talked about. There's a lot of alpha that you missed. There's a lot of craziness that was missed. Right now, yeah, RH has entered the conversation.
Yeah, I watched that dude. I was listening on a Twitter space one time, and there's an influencer like in the BV community that's like like the token is like the Omi token, right? So he's like an Omi token. He's like a VV Maxi, let's just call him, right? And he went up there and got completely this dude doesn't give a shit. He could give two fucks less about your feelings. He doesn't care about anything. He dismantled this guy. He's a smart guy. And I've still yet to like look into this Hex project. All I remember about Hex, I don't know if y'all remember, I don't know how long it sounds like you guys have been in crypto a little bit longer than, I mean, a lot longer than me, but when I got in last January, all I remember of Hex was when I would go open up the app for like to try, what I thought was an app, like to try and swap on Uniswap, right? It was just like a redirect to Uniswap, but there was always that Hex advertisement that was right there. And I feel like that's what got a lot of like newbies interested into that project. But I never really looked into kind of how his staking aspect works. How did he get people to ultimately get that shitcoin to literally go to where it went to? It was super impressive. Well, I still don't know.
Yeah, you know, one thing is, honestly, Hex put Uniswap on the map. It was the Hexicans that went on there and literally were most of the volume. They literally, you could say they're responsible for all the volume and actually making Uniswap a thing, a real popular thing. But, you know, the bottom line was this. His concept was it's a CD on the blockchain. You know, there's all these the most popular banking products is time deposits, and he put it on the blockchain and it 20,000x. So, yeah, I don't know. Is it a shit coin? Is it one of the best performing assets of all time? Yeah, who knows? So far, if you got in, you did really well. So, but yeah, we weren't even talking about X or bullshit. And all we were saying was early on, he's a super smart guy. And a lot of what he's been sharing for years has been stay away from, don't do the middleman. Don't put your, not your keys, not your coins. We're just saying a lot of the stuff he's called out for years. Don't use leverage. Look, he never had any ads on any of it. This is before Hex, before he raised, $3 billion that's on these projects, $1 billion on each on 3 different projects. Good or bad, whatever, love him or hate him, he against leverage. He wouldn't even have YouTube. He wouldn't monetize his channel because he didn't want leveraged exchanges advertising to his people. So he literally never once monetized any of his YouTube videos. This is pre-Hex, pre all that, because he hates leverage. He hates leveraged exchanges. So if you want to compare his character to everyone else who's advertised leveraged exchanges, I mean, people don't realize that when you have a Bybit link on your YouTube channel or your Twitter or whatever, you literally get up to 48% of all the trading fees. People don't realize a guy like Ivan on tech and stuff like that, some of these guys are literally making $500,000, $1 million a week. How do you think Moon Carl went from being a box boy in a Swedish, thing to buying a Bugatti, $2.2 million Bugatti, right? Now, he teaches trading. He makes no mistake about it, but leverage trading is a bad thing. And Richard Hart always has talked about it. So yeah, he kind of comes across as kind of a creepy dude and whatever, right? He may be cringy. Let's just say cringy. But the reality is he's warning people against, he called out Celsius. He called out FTX. He called out these people years ago. And so he's, in my opinion, if you look past the cringe, look past any project he's personally shilling, there's been some good alpha. I've got some great alpha from the guy over the years. He has self-help books. So that's a Richard Hart. I know, whether his projects are scams or genius, who knows? But and the reason we got on there, because we're just talking about how do we call out these scams? How do we warn people against this? And a lot of it is just, hey, stick to the fundamentals, don't FOMO and things like that. So that's how we got talking Richard Hart.
Gotcha. Did you guys tackle the FTX stuff already?
A ton.
We talked about that for a few hours already.
Okay, cool. I was just curious, like that. I mean, just given everything that's happened, it's as long as there's on the leverage topic, as long as there's going to be as long as people can play with leverage, as long as institutions can play with leverage, right? There's going to be these ridiculous cycles and market crashes up and down. And the saddest part is what it all comes down to is literally it's just fucking greed, right? Like that's it. Like these guys can have very legitimate businesses, but it's like they have a disease. It's not enough, right? Like Sam Bankman, like SBF is it's a classic case of, it's the same thing I saw with 3 Arrows. It's the same thing I saw with Do Kwon. Like it's the same exact disease. They just want to have the coolest car and have the biggest bank account at the country club, and that's it. And I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, forget the rich guy. No, like you get it, like make it, go for it. But the the lenders too. Why are we subject as somebody like I shorted some ETH today, right after I saw that monster green candle, right? On MEXC or on any other exchange, they're not calling you to say, hey, we need those shares now. We need those coins now. They're automatically liquidating you. Why is it when you borrow hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, do these lenders not institute the same exact automatic like liquidation like process? I never understood that.
Yeah,
Why
you
are these guys getting
can't.
phone
You
calls?
can't. Even the ones that did NFL champ, even the ones that did, they can't because there's not enough liquidity. And so even people who wanted to liquidate these big positions, it's just impossible because there's not that much liquidity. That's why the Michael Saylor only buys Bitcoin, right? That's why you just literally, there's not the liquidity to do it. I think a lot of them have those in place, but there's just not the liquidity. So they just get holding the bags.
Like if you remember, they give them like, I mean, some ridiculous like 70 or 80. I think I saw in one case it was almost an 85% LTV number when they're putting up staked ETH. So I'm with you, Ron. Like they're putting up staked Ethereum that is completely illiquid, right? Like pre-merge, who knows whenever that was going to become unstaked. But you put up staked ETH because this whole thing could have been like these collapses could have been avoided if the merge happens, right? Because then all of a sudden the ETH is freely trading and you're good to go. But the fact that they put up staked ETH, right, and we're still given this ridiculous amount of money, how are you supposed to cash in on anything? Like you literally couldn't. You were literally accepting. And to me, that's the lender's fault. And it's like everybody just wants to make. It's like the cash grab. It's like we got to make as much money as we can with all this shit, and nobody's willing to just like play the long game. Remember when MakerDAO was being made fun of for like over collateralizing DAI, and it's like, who ended up being the genius on that one? It's greed at its finest.
It was the FOMO, which is just greed on steroids, and that's all it was. And everything we're talking about, every one of these major, even the daily volatility, 100% can be traced back to leverage, right? That's it. Like, think about this. You go to Vegas, you play blackjack, it's 50-50. You sit down with $100 at a dollar table or $2, $5 table, you can play all night, right? Now, that's normal spot. Now, if you walk up to the roulette table and you put $1,000 on one of the numbers that pays 37 to 1 or whatever, how long is your night going to last? Probably not. And if you did that every time, you'd probably take 50 trips to Vegas before you'd actually hit that 1 in 37 chance on the first roll, right? And so that's the difference. You know, you can play all night with a little bit of money, or you can liquidate yourself on one roll of that roulette table or one roll of the dice or whatever. Bottom line is that's leverage, and it's just, and it's stupid, and you've got the exchanges trading against you. You know, I mean, it's like, it's until that leverage is out of the system, we're going to continue to see the same thing play over and over again. And Gary actually gifted me one of my best grails. I think it's Ladies, Liquor, and Leverage, or Liquor, Ladies, and Leverage, and .eth. And those,
you got both. Yeah, I see that. You got the Constitution there, Gway, man. Yeah, it's cool. That's a good book.
I was trying to search for you, man. I wasn't lucky enough to get my picture in there. So I was like, I know Gary has one. I was over here listening, just flipping it to me. 300 palindrome. You're on page 343. Hey. I'll never forget. I was trying to find one of us.
Yeah,
Ladies,
Ron, I got
Liquor, and Leverage.
You got Ladies, Liquor, and Leverage. You got Liquor, Ladies, and Leverage. You got both. So.
That is the demise of everything.
Mucho gracias. In case we have any of the ENS Latino community listening, I got to use my Spanish. What little I have, I got to use that. So mucho gracias.
That's it. That's real. Like, I didn't really understand what you guys were saying. Yeah, but like when you first said it, I was like, damn, that really is like, that's it right there. Those three things, you got to be super careful. But yeah, you're right. As long as the leverage game is still here, as long as the Wall Street guys, because the Wall Street guys know this game. They know it better than any of the crypto guys. That's the thing. They've played this game for like decades, and they know exactly how to mess with it, and they know exactly how to game these systems. So until like these Wall Street guys are done playing with the leverage and everything else, you're right. That's it. Still going to continue.
Yeah, it's kind of the disease right now, and when you're playing in an unregulated, but also it's not about the regulation. It's an immature marketplace, right? Like I say, back in the day, if you headed out west, a grizzly bear could have eaten you, Indians could have killed you, you could have died of drought, the wolves might have eaten you, bandits might have got you, you might have froze to death and had to eat your friends. you know, whatever. It was that's where we're in nowadays. You know, we fly on a plane from New York to LA and it's not so treacherous, but we have it's a very early stage technology. We're early in the game, and it's the Wild West out there, and it's going to take time. It's going to take enough big institutions, enough holders to where that you won't be able to play the leverage game. You can't play that stuff in Wall Street. You can't do that, right? There's too many people who are smarter than you, and they play the game better. And so, you know, these sharks are taking advantage of newbies, and you know, the dummies playing leverage, they're getting played. For all I know, and from what I've seen, the very exchanges might be playing against their own investors, right? They can see those stop losses. They know where it is. They have AI, whatever it is. Imagine playing chess. Imagine you as a newbie chess player playing against a computer that's using AI, learning your every move. How many games are you going to win? Only what they want to let you win, right? So you would never play against a computer programmed chess, and that's what you're doing when you're playing leverage. When you're trying, you think you're going to make a living being a trader. No, 90% of the traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days. And that's probably being generous.
That's a good point.
I give him 9 days.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know about.
Yeah,
I give him 9 hours.
minutes.
I give him 9 hours. Yeah, I give 90% of everybody like 9 hours, because you're gonna place a bet. It's gonna be like it's gonna wick. You're gonna have to put, even if you don't put 100. If you put 100% in, you're down. And if you don't put 100% in, you're gonna have to, like, you know, add liquidity. Yeah, I mean, people. It's just crazy how bad it is.
You have a better chance. I would say you have 1,000% better chance of making money as a professional slot machine player than you ever do trading leverage crypto.
You're right. And honestly, like, people, I never ever used to use leverage until I really started playing with it and realizing, like, this is exactly what they say it is. So every leverage position I put on, every time I put on, I'm expecting to be liquidated. Like this morning, I told you, like, I was completely liquidated on the ETH short. But yesterday on the FTX, if you catch things in time, it's almost like, you know, when you sit at the blackjack table and you're playing minimum bet, but then you're like, all right, you're starting to feel that it's getting hot, and then like, all right, let me increase the bet size, right? When you see specific indicators, you're just like, I've seen this before, I'm going to go a little bit bigger on this one. And when I saw yesterday the whole FTX thing, even though it was down 30%, when it's trading at $15 and they're talking about potential liquidation and bankruptcy and this and that, unless they get a bailout, you know that shit's not staying at $15 anymore. You know what I mean? But it's those are the only times that I'll use leverage. I don't use leverage in the everyday trade. And
yeah, what gets you though is the hunt wicks, right? What gets you is, know, okay, you pretty much know today with the CPI number, if it's good, there's a certain line when you pretty much know it's going to pump, right? And it did today. That was an easy trade. But how many times does it kind of go the right way, or it goes the wrong way, just enough to liquidate you, and then it goes the other way, right? Watch that, man. I've been liquidated to the penny. I've left a trade. I put a stop loss in. I went away. I came back thinking I made $10,000, only to find that I got liquidated to the penny before it went the other way. So it's like, I don't even believe in stop. I don't believe you can stop loss it. I don't believe you can, because they're, like I said, I believe the exchanges are counter trading you, and nobody knows because there's no regulation. They're in the Seychelles, they're in the Bahamas, you know, who knows what they're doing.
I can tell you.
People not know. How do people not know? Like it's known. Like, you're being counter traded. It's like,
that's what market makers do. That's how we make money. Is we make money off of a spread. I mean, it's exactly how we make money, right? Like, If something is $1, the inside market is $1 to $1.01. The average person is buying at $1.01 and selling at $1. The market maker is the one buying at $1, selling at $1.01. So that's a normal thing in, at least in equities, and here it should be assumed also. But I don't know how people don't know it. I actually experienced this firsthand, to where Coinbase, I mean, the fuckery that goes on. Like, if you're not experienced and you haven't done this before, you genuinely have no idea that it's going on. But I caught an arbitrage opportunity last year where I made just overnight like such a ridiculous amount of money that I mean for me it was a ridiculous amount of money just arbitraging between Binance and Coinbase. But I couldn't withdraw my shit from Coinbase, a regular ERC20 withdrawal, just in that one name that they were holding it up. I didn't get it until almost 22 hours later. Did it show up into my wallet? So if that never showed up, I would have been screwed out of a ton of money. But the fact that like they hold up your stuff, they pull themselves out of the completely. They're saying, "Oh, we're stopping making a market in this." To that point, they literally say, "Oh, we don't trade that name anymore." What? I mean, the exchanges are the ones. It's Wall Street with like, you know, the saying of like, just because you put lipstick on a pig, it's the same stuff, same shit.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's a wild
lipstick on a
west,
pig.
and you know, hopefully our experience, we can warn people about it, and you know, and that's just like right now. You know, I wasn't panicking yesterday. I bought like 650 ENS tokens when they were down at like 10, $11, because I think they're going to go to a lot higher, and they were just almost double that before all this shenanigans started, right? So
Yep.
I wasn't panicking. I just wished I had another $1 million yesterday. I would have happily deployed it.
I wish I had the first $1 million. I would have deployed that too. Like, I wish. But that's the problem with like the average Joe investor. They don't buy. Like, it's like you said, it's the FOMO, right? Nobody buys on the red candles like they're supposed to. They're buying on the green candles when they should be selling on the green candles. Like, it's such a, if people can master just that one simple not even master, just comprehend it and actually execute on it, then I think people would be so much better off. But nobody wants to catch what they think is a falling knife. And it's like, oh, it's going down. No. Oh, wait, I want to get it when everybody else is getting it. So, yeah.
Well, look, Warren Buffett, you know, as much as he's wrong on crypto, and I don't think he's wrong on crypto. He owns Wells Fargo. He owns American Express. You know, crypto's bad for his investment. So, of course, he's going to FUD crypto. But his statement, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy for others are fearful. You have to work against, you know, emotion and human nature. But that's it. If people would learn that one lesson, they would be a lot better off.
Yep. I fully agree what you said. When there's blood on the
or
street
dollar
this
cost
morning,
average.
you dollar cost average?
Yeah, exactly. Simple stuff that can make you wealthy over time.
Like, stop trading.
Basics.
People need to stop trading. You got to stop trading, and you got to stop playing video games. It's just that simple. Delete the video games off your phone, unless it's chess. Yeah, you know, like maybe one thing if you're stuck on a plane or something, you know what I mean? But like, you know, delete the video games off your phone. Stop trading. Don't trade. If you want to trade, go trade. I'm not like the boss of you, right? But, you know, there's like, you know, I hate to talk this way, but there's like just alpha shit that people do. You know what I mean? And like trading, like in like if you're good at it, like whatever, man, you do you. But like statistically, the average person is not a good trader. And the average person is getting wrecked. And the average person isn't doing their job, isn't providing, isn't making money, and taking that. And then if they are, the average person isn't taking a percentage of that money and dollar cost averaging it into appreciating assets, right? There's like fiat money goes down by design every month, every, you know, like whatever, like every quarter, however you want to measure it. Fiat's always going down, and people are like, oh, do I put my money in stocks, or do I put money in real estate, or do I put my money in crypto? You have to find assets that go up in value over time. And traditionally that's been like the stock market, right? It's like the stock market's just been a straight line up, or like, like up and to the right. And because it's just been the appreciating asset before crypto, and now we have crypto, and so there's this big war between like, you know, institutional investors and like, you know, crypto investors. But let it be like the stock market, or let it be you know, real estate, or let it be cryptocurrency, there's assets that are going up when benchmarked against the dollar. And the average person isn't like even providing, is in that, you know, not like manning up and like, you know, like putting in the work to like, you know, like run their business, or like, you know, have a job, and then to have the extra cash flow to dollar cost average. And it's just like a mathematical fact. There's like multiple books that have been written on this, right? Where like the stock market is all about like 30 to 50 days out of the whole year. And you're not going to be able to time those 30 to 50 days. And even if you're a trader or a good trader, you're just like, you know, you're like basically waiting for those, you know, the candles to give you the hints for those good days. You know what I mean? And it's just like, if you just like dollar cost average, then you're going to statistically do better than all these other people, right? Except for maybe some anomalies, or where they have insider information, or just are just lucky as all hell. It's just the people that just, and then you don't lose your life force either, right? It's like you're trading, you're giving up your time, right? You got to be in front of your computer all the time. You know, you just have to. You got to always be connected. You lose your life. You don't get to go to work. You don't get to hang out with your kids. You don't get to hang out with your friends. You don't do other shit that's providing value in the world. And then you're just, you know, you're going to get wrecked. And even if you're like the best shit ever, then it's only a matter of time before you get wrecked, because unless you're the best of the best, you're not going to have great money management. You're going to make a bad decision. You're going to double down. You're going to go on tilts, right? You're going to be,
you'll literally go insane, Gary. If you try, and look, I've been, like I said, I was day trading before Gray Man was born. I can promise you that. And I was trading with big money. And
he's 43 years old.
I'm 43, man.
I know.
Oh, damn.
Okay. Since he was a teenager. But I'll tell you, so I think I'm way more sophisticated trader than most. But I'm telling you, you will literally go insane. You will literally believe that there's a camera watching your move. And you will literally believe that the second you can watch a position for 3 days, not eat, not sleep, not drink, nothing, and you click that button and immediately goes against you. You will literally feel like that somebody's watching you, and the second you make a move, and that's because they're using AI, they know human nature, they're counter trading you. It's an impossibility. But like you say, Gary, time in the market is better than time in the market. Dollar cost average over time, diversify in some good assets, and then be patient. And that's it. That's what you need to do. That's what that is. Those simple fundamental steps is what makes you wealthy over time, not the trading. That is 100% bullshit. And it's fun when it works, but it's fun when you go to Vegas and you hit a jackpot. Right? No sane person thinks they can make a living gambling outside of poker, right? Nobody, you know, nobody's ever made a living playing, unless you own the casino. Nobody's made a living playing blackjack, craps, roulette.
I don't know, man. Right? There's some really good card counters before they started getting their legs broken.
That's true. But they know, they see you. They see you in a heartbeat, and they beat the shit out of you and send you out the back door. That's true. But you know what I mean?
They give you a warning first.
Yeah, now they just have facial recognition. They just recognize you when you walk in the casino, and they escort you out. But yeah, no, but you know what I mean? It's an impossibility, and you need to do what you're saying, Gary, and you can make a living and educate yourself too. Man, you know, use the time to learn, educate yourself on the opportunities. How many people don't know about ENS right now, right? What I believe is the biggest opportunity and potentially in all of crypto, right? It's not 100% guaranteed, but compared to everything else, look what it's done, right? How many people are not even going to hear about it, or gonna just blow it off for another year or two, and then when everyone's getting excited, Gary, I know Gary, you've already been in it 5 years. You know, I've been in it about a year, and but there's some people that don't even know it exists. So, yeah, you know, educate yourself. You know, learn.
I was gonna say, can I tell you what I saw today? Speaking of ENS, I went through a full hour and 15-minute demo today of how, like, this AI program that this guy built. I was in awe because I've never really seen like the extent to what it can do, but the parameters in which like he plugged in of creating content, like he had everything from writing, AI was writing blogs to writing multiple like viral tweets to managing his Google fucking AdWords to writing poems. I mean, it was something that I couldn't believe, and I'm thinking to myself, if I apply this to the ENS world, like this is going to be something insane, like something like not normal. Like I was completely and utterly like in shock, and it's going to make, well, my life that much easier. It's going to make creating content for this community that much easier. And it's, I mean, I'm curious, like, are you guys like focused on any of this AI stuff? Like, what's the story?
I've invested in some AI trading companies that literally have like 15 PhDs in statistics and AI, and they just trade the market, you know. So I have been in that regard. That's another reason I don't dare trade anymore. But yeah, as far as the new how it, like the stuff you're talking about, no, but I'm hearing more and more about it. And look, listen, this is why Web3 is going to go 10 times faster and bigger than the internet, because all these tools, this new technology is you know, we're literally we're literally every day on Twitter Spaces, we have people from all over the world for free talking ENS, talking alpha, you know. So we have all these new tools. We have people are writing programs, kids are writing apps. There's so many tools. But back when the internet started, I mean, you know, we didn't, it was just so slow, right? It took so long now all this technology is going to make it a lot faster. So all that stuff is just it'll be like a wildfire once it really catches on.
Yeah, I haven't kept up too much with the AI stuff. I know that's probably beyond me. I have a buddy that kind of got me into an AI art collection, and he just mentioned there was like good holders on it. Said this AI, like, you know, art's going to be the next big deal. So I said, whatever. I bought a few at like 0.07, and now they're at like 0.0001 or something. And I was like, all right, well, because even the idea, I'm like, well, if an AI did this art, what's stopping someone else from just using AI to make the next art and stuff like that? So I wasn't too fond of it anyway, but I figured that I'll try it, and it kind of bit me. And then yeah, it's the same thing with what you guys mentioned with the leverage. It's like I got friends that do it, never done it, and then the thing is, I don't do it because I think I'll get burned. And I'm also, and this is gonna sound cheesy, but I'm almost like worried to win one time or to do well, because I think if you score one time with it good enough, like it's enough to get you hooked, and then you go down that path of going crazy, like Ron and Gary were touching on. So I avoid it, and during all this volatility and all this craziness going on, I've seen a bunch of people trading, shorting things, leveraging things. And I just went and bought S'more.eth for 0.15 off premium. And that's the way I chose to move in these volatile times.
Yo, go ahead. But like,
That's
I'm
great.
not saying use it with trading. I'm saying use it with like in the other aspects of your life to make your life easier. Like, it doesn't have to be directly correlated with money. Look at it from like an efficiency standpoint of what can make you actually more efficient, and where are the areas of your life where it's like, okay, if I had a couple extra minutes here, it's like shaving minutes, right? Or like trying to get more minutes back in the day for you to do more stuff. This is going to free up so many more minutes so that I can do so much more, and it does it well.
No, that makes sense. You know, some people are good at it. I just haven't taken the lead. And one buddy broke
What are
it
you
down.
freeing up? You're freeing up time by trading? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm freeing up time by using AI to create like content wise, right? Like in terms of like other tasks that the AI can
Oh,
do.
AI,
I'm not
AI for
referring to it in
content,
trading.
not AI
Yeah.
for trading.
Nope.
Okay.
No, that's really cool, and I think there will be a lot more people that do that. I mean, already this is like a terrible example, But I know that Twitter now has it to where you can schedule tweets, and there's people that like, you know, their job is to be on Twitter and to be active on Twitter. And instead of doing so, they just kind of schedule enough. Like if you want to take the weekend off, schedule your tweets. It's a way to stay active and stay posted, stay in the algorithm. And you just use that little AI schedule tweet, and you know, take the weekend off. And that's a terrible example, but I'm just saying I think that's going to be that and like way beyond, and people can use it in a lot of productive ways.
Well, listen, this is where the community comes in, right? So NFL, you know, everyone calls you NFT champ, right? Because it's like so hard for me to.
No,
NFL
it's just
champ.
you.
He said everyone.
Yeah, I'm the only dyslexic one. Okay, but anyway, look, we got NFL champ doing this AI and sharing it with us. We got Novak's doing his little virtual fish bowls or whatever, right? And it's like everyone's kind of going down these paths, and we can get on and talk about it and share it, what works, what doesn't work, you know. And I think that's where the power of the Web3, that's where this power of this community, right? We have people we know and trust, right? Listen, some guy, for all I know, people are going to use AI to scam people, and already have. People are going to use virtual reality to scam people, right? Because it's a buzzword, so it's easily, yeah, let's do the AI, and it's just a scam. But
let's not even talk about the catfishing.
Oh yeah.
What's that? Yeah, what I mean is when you have trusted people sharing stuff with you, then it saves you the time, right? When Novak's, he's up all night now doing these building this stuff, and you know, okay, I'm starting to take notice, right? And so we have trusted people in the community that we know are smart, and we know, and when they come to us and say, hey, this is real, or this isn't real, then it can save us time, and we have that's a really cool thing about, I think, the Web3 community that we never had in the Web 2 and Web 1 world.
Yeah, it's some. I literally, my jaw was on the floor when I was seeing how many different things I can do. I literally negotiated with the guy, and he didn't have his ENS name. So when he came into the spaces this morning on the Wake and Bake show, and I called him up, I was like, I'd love to hear more about this AI stuff. And he started telling us what he was doing. I had my buddy go out and register the name, and now I'm holding on to his .eth name, and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna negotiate. Essentially, like, I negotiated a free trial with it, you know what I mean? But the guy's the nicest guy in the world, and he has no idea like what ENS is, you know what I mean? Like, no clue. And if a guy like that gets a hold, oof, boy, like I'm telling you, like, we're a couple catalysts away from ENS really catching on. Especially after watching that the Circle CEO and Brian Armstrong YouTube, that was something crazy also. But
was that on YouTube or was that a Twitter Spaces?
It was on YouTube. It was like a lot. Well, they streamed it on YouTube. I think it was a live conversation. It was a live conversation between the two of them.
If you could, if you end up finding a link for that, could you shoot me it? Because I missed the conversation because I was hosting the space by myself, and I was trying to find it because I had a buddy that wanted to see it, and then I didn't get to see it myself, so I couldn't go too far into it.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Man.
It was. I mean, the conversation was like. I mean, they spent a solid like 8 to 10 minutes. Right, of the 45 minutes that they were doing this, that they were on, talking about ENS, like as if it's like, how is like everybody not using this right now? It's kind of crazy. And to hear Brian Armstrong say it, it's one thing to read about it, but to hear Brian Armstrong, the way in which he talks about it, when you can see body language and you can see like the conviction he has, it was something I think everybody needs to watch this thing. It was super powerful.
Well, yeah, it's like when the two Bored Apes founders, where someone asked them about ENS, and they're like, yeah, that's probably the purest form of digital real estate. You're like, wow, right? Here's guys who have their own other side land and whatever, kind of virtual land. And they're like, yeah, ENS is probably .eth is probably the purest form of digital real estate.
Yeah, that was bullish.
You hear those guys talking, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're on the right path.
No, most definitely. I know I haven't been here too long. I came in a little bit late. I got about 5 minutes left, and I gotta take off. I gotta be up early.
Yeah, same.
Go ahead. I just DM'd it to you.
Oh man, thank you. I'm gonna definitely tune into that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for showing up, guys, and thanks for everybody watching, and thanks for the people in the comments. Some people think it's cool they get to see what we look like and that it's different from their expectations.
I wanted to show you a tweet. It was funny. Captain America tuned into the last one, and it was the first time I showed my face to anybody. And he messaged me. He said, "Well, I seen you on the stream." He said, "This is why you don't meet your heroes." He said, "I thought you looked like this," and he sent me a picture of Dwayne the Rock Johnson. He said, "I pictured you like this." I was cracking
I
up.
thought you had a face tat at least, at least a neck tat, because you have, when you hear your voice, you kind of sound a little gangsta.
I got the chest. I got the chest.
You do have a chest tat?
Yeah.
Is that serious? Okay.
Oh,
And I got
shit.
machine gun.eth. So, I let it speak for me.
There you go. I look like a fat Gary, so I look like a fat Gary Palmer. So I got to lose a little weight before I show my face.
Yeah. So we got Uncharted Media Production saying Matt Higgins is the key to ENS mainstream because he has that connect CNBC and mainstream media. I think he's waiting on subdomains. I'm sure we won't get any alpha as Guayman's going to bed. Also just going on to say people don't think they don't understand NFTs because they think it's just monkey pictures, and they don't have the same vision as all of us. And yeah, it's even deeper than that because people look at ENS names like they're just NFTs when ENS names is like it's so much more than just even Vitalik, right? It's like ENS is like not this. We didn't get to it, but it's more than just the NFT. It's also the whole protocol, which is why the NFT is so ubiquitous.
Yeah, I mean,
most definitely. And then on the Higgins topic, I agree. Actually, I'm not saying it has to be Higgins himself, but I'm saying people in the position and kind of have the platform that Higgins does. The more that we can get some of them, that's why it'd be awesome if Gary Vee talked about it. He owns VFriends.eth, but he's not vocal about his belief in .eth. But I do know that he's well aware of it and he's chatted with it. And it was funny because people track the wallets. Oh yeah. And
I was gonna go on. I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I'll make it fast. Even when Higgins purchased one of the 3 digits he needed, he said his ammo was a little bit dry, so he had to kind of get spotted by a buddy, and people tracked it thinking that Gary helped him purchase it, and it wasn't Gary buying it; it was just a little friendly spot. But yeah, definitely, I think people in that position, and I think he understands that too. As far as Matt Higgins, I think he understands that he needs people like him because he's been trying to find ways to really step up, and now that he's vocal about it and he's representing it on not only Twitter but Instagram, and he's putting all this money into it, he definitely wants to get it out there to the mainstream, and he has those connections. That's why I wish just people that were in charge of doing so and whatnot, maybe like he told me he DM'd a few people from like the ENS team, and nobody's responded to him. They all have like faded him, and I'm like, man, I wish that they would like be more open to engagement. But I did actually get him connected with somebody. I think it's Corey. I was told to connect him with Corey. So yeah, so I believe that they have
Corey's good connect. Brantley, Brantley.eth just started a new company.
Really?
You know
I seen him tweet about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about Brantley, but he's like an all-star in terms of his biz dev, his writing skills, his ability to connect, his ability to meme, and super bullish on his new organization. Listen, man, the thing I hope you get to like Matt Higgins is that there's a lot of people that are the DAO. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're trying to connect, like maybe you were trying to connect him with someone at not ENS DAO. You were trying to connect him with someone at ENS Labs.
And that's something that after talking with you the other day, I had a phone call with him and I had to break it down. And that's what I said. So my buddy Gary explained to me, there's the DAO and then there's the labs. And I talked with Nick a bit, and he's the one that told me, because I told him my intentions of reaching out, and Nick responded to me. Nick actually follows me because of my Brantley troll joke a couple months ago. He followed me while I was acting as fake Brantley after he got kind of just all that Twitter stuff. So I was able to DM him, and then he DM'd me back. Yeah, I was Prantly Willigan. But yeah, it was a fun time, and I got a follow back from Nick, and I was able to connect with him just last night, and then he's the one that pointed me in the direction of Corey for like what I'm trying to get done here. So I think, you know, slowly we're putting it together, and yeah, I'm excited, man. But I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no, just you know what I mean. The DAO, yeah, unfortunately, they, you know, I hear that, unfortunately, kind of often that, you know, like people reach out to DAO, and it's, you know, the DAO is like, I mean, not the DAO, but ENS Labs is doing like what they're doing best, and they just don't seem to be set up to like handle a lot of you know, these connections that are coming in. And in terms of, you know, if you want ENS Labs, that is what it is. But if you want to do something with ENS, if you want to do something with ENS DAO, there's a lot of delegates, and there's a lot of people involved, and anybody can get involved, and anyone can become the captain now. You know what I mean? Anyone can just get involved and do what they want to do. They just, you know, you want to build relationships, but you don't necessarily have to do that with ENS Labs.
Right.
I mean, a little bit you do, because you want to build relationships with people that are part of ENS Labs, because they're also delegate holders. But you know, it's not. It's what I'm trying to say is like, you don't have to exclusively work with ENS Labs. You can work with the whole community and like include ENS Labs on those plans. And it sounds like you're doing that with Corey. The second thing I wanted to say with like Gary V and with Matt Higgins, make sure they know about the ENS merch shop. Because my understanding, no, this is legit. My understanding is that this initial run is only 1,000 hats.
Okay.
There is like a kind of.
Oh, my bad. I just want to know if you were able to let me know before we get off how many hats are left.
I don't know, man. We gotta like ask somebody in the DAO.
Okay.
Or not on the DAO, but someone a part of the you know, the group that's working on this in the DAO. And we can ask them. But I mean, yeah, we can do that. But then, yeah, I mean, see if Matt wants to get like his number .eth or maybe Irish.eth. How cool would it be to have like an official ENS DAO Irish.eth hat
and wear that around?
Yeah, man, or a 917 or a baby hat or whatever he's got. It's like, it's kind of cool. It's got, you know what I mean? Especially if it's like, you know, it's like merch, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It'd be cool to get V-Friend, but yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really sick.eth.
Where's the
Q Capital?
Yeah, where's the
Q Capital's hilarious, man. Q Capital's too funny. He's great with the memes. Someone have to share that one.
I definitely share that one.
That's too funny.
That's funny.
Cute if you're here, man. You're cute.
Gary, is there a meeting tomorrow, a DAO, like an ecosystem meeting tomorrow or whatever? Because I feel like there's different information on Discord versus whatever. What time is the meeting tomorrow?
I'd have to pull up my calendar. I'll pull up my calendar for you.
Thank you, sir.
But there's a calendar. People need to get the DAO calendar. There's a Google Calendar link, and with that Google Calendar link, you can add it to your Google Calendar, and that'll pretty much tell you when and where everything is.
Yeah, they canceled one yesterday.
Yeah, things do get canceled.
Hey Gary, I got to jet, but I want to say
we're wrapping up.
For having me, and
thanks man.
For doing these, because there's people that aren't on Twitter, and I think if you continue to do these, get picked up by the algorithm, then there'll be people, especially when people start wondering what's ENS, you know, what's the deal with it, they can jump on, and I think it's going to reach a new audience. So I appreciate your putting this content.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the existing base. Yeah, totally. And just so you know, this is being simulcast on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and Rumble. Most of the show, we have more people watching on Rumble than on YouTube right now. But doing this, you know, I did this for a while, and yeah, once I build a consistency, the two things that are going to happen. I'm going to be building the consistency, which the shows are probably going to be Sunday through Thursday. So we're not going to have a show on Friday, no shows on Friday, no shows on Saturday, kind of like to like protect my weekends and also to respect the Friday night happy hour. But then I'm also going to be taking these shows, cutting them up into clips. Just once the algorithm sees the consistency, we're gonna build this up.
Yeah.
And
well, what about where's it being live streamed on Twitter? Because like so I'm good friends with Alea Helper, and she, you probably know she does a bunch of Bitcoin stuff. But like when she puts it on YouTube, she might get 50,000. On Twitter, like 20-30,000 hits in a day, and she might only get a couple thousand on her YouTube channel. So how can people watch this on Twitter?
Yeah, I was debating if I wanted to cast it into multiple Twitters, because right now it's just twittering through minting coins, but I could also send it. I could simulcast it also through. So like, look, this is us watching us, and we're about to be watching us. So this is about to become an infinite loop. But yeah, I could simulcast this on Minting Coins Twitter, on Web3 Domains Twitter, maybe Gary Palmer Jr. Twitter. I did want to sort of like encourage people to go to like one place, but I could do it on Web3
Well, we can let
Domains.
people know. I think in the future, let them know that they can watch it on Twitter, because I really think with us having a lot more pull on Twitter, between us, we've got hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. I think it would be good to have them, simulcast it on a Twitter and put that link in there as well if you want to watch it on Twitter.
Very cool. Thanks for the tip.
Okay, thank you,
I like
man.
it.
I look forward to a future NFL champ. Great man, always a pleasure. And,
Thanks, Ron.
We'll catch you guys later.
Most definitely. Nice to talk to you, Ron.
Same. That was funny. Ron's a troll. He's trolling me like that, huh? That's all day, every day. All day, every day. Yeah, Gary, I don't see
very
it.
good, guys. Thanks. What's that?
On the calendar, I don't see it. I don't see anything for Friday. I see canceled
Yeah.
yesterday.
So I don't see. Yeah, I forgot to say. I don't see anything for Friday right now either. So I would go. Go on Twitter or the Discuss board. I'd post on Discourse or reach out to Coltron.
Yep.
Or maybe Slobo.
Yep.
All right, but hey, we're gonna kill the stream now, and until next time, guys.
All right, man. Thank you for having me again.
All right,
Appreciate
follow
it.
us
Same here,
everywhere.
Gary.
Subscribe, like the video. Really appreciate
Later,
it.
boy.
Thanks, everybody.
Later, man.
Peace.
Deuces.